Green, green.
Holy moly.
Great job! Yeah! This guy.
Thank you. Wow!
Hell yeah. Woo-hoo! Great job, man!
And we got a crash. Car spinning left and right.
Buddy, let her rip.
Rain like hell, baby. Come on.
Oh my god, guys! Yes! Yes! Unbelievable! You guys are the best! Yes, 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 yes! Oh, what a year!
And welcome everybody to the NASCAR Rookie Podcast here tonight on DannyBTalks. Glad to have you all here with us. I was not here last week. Had a family matter to get to, so appreciate these guys for taking over the show while I was gone. And guys, let's get straight into it. What a race at Michigan. I know me and Darian were at the Music City Grand Prix, so I only got a chance to watch the highlights of this race, but what I saw, even if the highlights looked very exciting. So maybe let's start off with either Jarrett or Eric. Break us down what you guys saw in the race.
You're back in your old stomping grounds there.
Yeah.
I see you. I want to hear what you thought. What you thought of this race.
I was really surprised because I know a lot of people before the weekend, and I'd mentioned it last week. By the way, UFO didn't make the trip. Sorry.
I'm out.
Damn.
But he let her out.
No, shoot.
Eric, you jinxed yourself earlier.
Oh, now you're dark now, Eric.
So when Eric hopped in the Zoom call, he said, "Why is my camera not dark?" And now here he is.
Yeah, usually whenever I enter a Zoom call, my camera defaults to dark mode, like it's Twitter or something. Sorry, Jared. Get back to your point.
Go ahead.
We distracted you.
It's all good. So a lot of people had talked about this race. They didn't know what Michigan would be like. This car has improved a lot of tracks that previously been boring. As much as I love Michigan, has a special place in my heart. I could admit, since the repave, objectively, a majority of the races have not been that good.
Not as bad as Texas Motor Speedway, though.
Why do you gotta just throw Texas under the bus every chance you get?
You're wearing an Astros, sir. It reminded me. Go ahead, continue.
What the hell, man?
I'm going to quote Dale Jr. What the F does Texas Motor Speedway have to do with this?
Anyway, this wasn't a perfect race by any means. I get that. But I'm going to reiterate what I had said Sunday night following the race. I think, personally, this is the best Michigan race that we've seen in years. I think it's the best since the repave. Objectively, yes, it was a little more difficult to pass the leader. I think there were a couple passes when it came to like Bell and Trackhouse and a couple of the others. There's room for improvement, definitely. But there was still, throughout the pack, a good amount of passing. There was a good amount of competition. There was, I believe, two drivers tied for leading the most laps, and it was 38 laps compared to a lot of these other races at Michigan where it's like 100 laps led or 95 or 150 or whatever. I gave it a 9 out of 10, and I'm sticking with it. I thought that this was actually one of the best races of the year. And it was a race that I didn't know what would happen next, and I appreciate that. And I get people were upset that the last run that Harvick ran off with the win.
That's
the
racing
for second, third, fourth, fifth was still awesome. There was still a lot of good jostling for position. There were guys passing all the way up through the pack, like Larson. I think he came up to finish third or fourth, somewhere up there. There was, I think, Elliott throughout the day got his car better. That's old school Michigan, where your car is not good and you have to chase the track. So I personally appreciated it. It was a blast from the past, and it reminded me of mid-2000s Michigan, which a lot of people hated back then, but now that kind of racing people appreciate now. So I liked it.
Unfortunately, it still had, and I agree, you gave it a 9 out of 10. I, by my metric, would give it an 8.5 out of 10. I don't consider it one of the best few races of the year, but it was on the upper half for sure, and certainly one of the better Michigan races since the repave. But what I was going to say was many of those repave annoyances were still there, like very little tire wear. The track is so smooth, and you kind of mentioned this, not great multi-groove racing. They put some resin in the outer lanes, but still you had maybe 2.5 workable lanes, and it was still very easily for the lead car in clean air to defend using aero, just like turn down the middle of the corner to take someone's air away. It made it very, very difficult to pass anyone if they had remotely clean air, which is like the case at the end. Bubba trying to pass Joey Logano, not the first place car, but he had like a 3-second, 4-second gap, much cleaner air than Bubba, and it made enough of a difference. Bubba could not get by him for like 20 laps. But no, I thought it was a great race. Like I said, the aero issues here and there, but it's just fast cars at a fast track. You're going to see that from time to time. What really stood out to me was Toyota. I don't have the results pulled up in front of me, but I believe they finished second with Bubba, third with Hamlin. I think Truex was like sixth.
Where's Kyle Busch? Where's Busch at?
Kyle Busch was like 37th. But the point is, they still had 2 or 3 cars in the top 5, top 6. And this was like a worst case scenario for Toyota because Bubba Wallace had his best car since Kansas and couldn't win because he couldn't pass Logano on that final run. Martin Truex Jr. still gets a decent finish, yet is now outside of the playoff picture. I know we'll talk about that more in a moment. And Kevin Harvick of Ford, the one team, Stuart Haas, that's been like behind for the last 2 years. Oh no, have they finally hit their stride right before the playoffs? There's a ton of things that went wrong for Toyota, and most of it was self-inflicted. Hamlin with the pit road penalty, they had that loose wheel guy came over the wall. Don't know what he was thinking. Ty Gibbs still bowed back to finish 10th, but he had a speeding penalty. Kyle Busch, not self-inflicted, but they did employ a risky strategy that put them back on traffic on a restart. Christopher Bell wrecked himself. I could go on. So that was my big takeaway was Toyota's troubles.
Yeah, Toyota. So I was wrong. It wasn't Larson that finished third. It was Hamlin, and Hamlin made that big charge up through there. Second, yeah, you're right. Second, third, sixth, and then Ty Gibbs in 10th too.
Yeah. So, first career Cup Series top 10 and just his third start. Yeah.
Highest finishing Chevy was 7th with Kyle Larson.
Oh, I thought he got to 5th. Never mind. Dang. Yeah. Who was 4th?
Joey Logano. Then Ryan Blaney, Truex, Larson, Jones, Bowman, and Ty Gibbs.
Wait, Bowman got a top 10?
Yep, finished P9.
Mm-hmm. Did he qualify like 30th? Dang.
Hey, very impressive run. Maybe he's starting to turn it around a little bit.
Like Jared said, or Old Michigan kind of, you could make your way through the field slowly but surely during the day, or in the case of Hamlin and Ty Gibbs, rocket through in the final 30 laps and get back into the top 5.
Now, really quick, you two saw the first caution of the day. Like, tell me what happened on that whole deal on the restart. I didn't see it live, of course. But
so yeah, you can go ahead, Jared.
Just JJ Yaley, I think restarted like 7th or 9th. And they like, because there was a big shuffle up on tire strategy and people staying out compared to people staying back and pitting. And
he was inside the top 10. I thought he was in the midfield.
I think he was 9th, maybe 11th, but something like that. Yeah,
he was around that area. They get into the restart, and you could see from the restart, like the rest of the cars ahead of him pulled ahead as they were getting up through the gears, and then go in through 3 and 4. Or 1 and 2, and he just sort of drifts through the pack. I think somebody almost like got into him and took the air off his spoiler, but
he wasn't going fast enough. He wasn't going fast enough to have aero come into play.
But he got shuffled into the back, and I think when the wreck started, he was like 4 or 5 wide, and the whole chain reaction from there. It was
took out Almirola, Kyle Busch, and obviously Austin Cindric. That was the most damage I've seen on the front of one of these cars since they've been introduced. So
thank goodness for safety.
Glad he walked away. No,
but you cannot blame the driver for that. Okay, he didn't make the call. The crew chief made the call. I mean, come on, the crew chief made the call.
I blame the crew chief or the team owner. I blame them the most, but a little bit on the driver. He could have still pulled out of the way. I mean,
you know what it was? He wanted revenge on the 18 again. Because Kyle Busch was his.
He saw that Interstate 18 and had war flashbacks.
But yeah, honestly, the crew chief needs to know better. I understand, trying to call, make certain strategy calls to get your guys up front. I mean, that's the point of racing, right? But then also you have to be aware of what type of equipment you have. And starting a Rick Ware racing car inside the top 10 on a restart early in the race like that, it's not necessarily the best call. No.
I think they even mentioned this on the broadcast, but it was only like 15 laps until the end of the stage. So even if he just rides around the back, he's not going to go a lap down. Even a car that slow, he's not going to go a lap down. So there's no point in restarting 10th. You should just play it safe the way I saw a few people on Twitter referencing BJ McLeod, how as far as like back markers go, he knows how to not affect a race. He does what he's supposed to do.
He minds his own business. Yeah,
he comes home clean 99% of the time because of it. And I think some of these Rick Ware teams could learn a thing or two from him.
BJ McLeod, straight from the book of Paul Menard.
Yes, but from the racing I saw though, because we were like going back and forth in the media center and watching the on-track action. The IndyCar race, I mean, it was a street course after all, so it's not an oval. You can't see everything and stuff. But from what I was watching, I mean, the racing was absolutely spectacular for Michigan standards. I mean, problems with the repave and stuff, not a whole lot of tire wear every now and then, but you had a lot of parity too. Like at one point, the Trackhouse cars towards the end of the race were 1-2, and I'm like, ooh, like when they can turn it on, man. I mean, that's going to be a team to watch in the playoffs, especially. And also not just Ross Chastain, but I mean Daniel Suarez. You can make a case for him. Maybe making a potential dark horse run in the playoffs. Hey, yeah, you never know. But some other guys too. I mean, of course, Bubba Wallace. That was the story there. I mean, like I was watching it. I was watching the intervals on my phone, and I was looking, and towards the end of lap 20, he was like almost 2 seconds ahead there. Like he was, that car was fast right from the get-go too. I mean, and now that makes 3 of the last 4 races he gets a top 5. So
4 straight top 10s. No, he was good. If he doesn't get held up by Logano, and I think this is why he was so down on himself in his post-race interview, he chose to restart, if I'm not mistaken, underneath Harvick on the front row, and that's just, you lose your momentum.
Got the side draft from Larson.
You're going to fall back to third at best. And I think that's where what he was so frustrated by. I think if he could go back, he would restart second row outside and just follow Harvick through probably to second place. And then on the long run, he was as faster than Harvick. It could have been anyone's game, but because he had to waste so much time and so many tires trying to get by Joey Logano, he didn't have a chance. But no, 4 straight top 10s.
I thought his quote was funny after the race, though. Like Logano earned another Ford contract.
Yeah, and then did you see him today on Twitter? He was trying to say, "Oh, hey, Logano did nothing wrong." He was backtracking a little bit. Did you see that on Twitter today? Calling his fans are probably going after Logano a bit, and he was trying to dial that back.
Hey guys, that's racing. That's racing, man.
Exactly.
I mean, you got to get by. So, hey, look, Logano's doing his job. Bubba's trying to do his job.
Hey,
so.
As much as some of the Bubba Wallace haters can be annoying as all get out in every form of social media, his fans, when they get mad, they can also be equally as
kind of reminds me of Dale Jr. fans to an extent.
Well, the thing that I had said on Sunday night that I was happy with was that instead of Bubba being like, moping around because of a 14th place run and stuff, and it's like, he's actually competitive enough to be upset with running second. And that should be the goal with it. Like going to 23-11, a lot of people probably, erroneously thought that he was going to be going to a team that would be much more competitive week in and week out, a team that should be competing for wins. Finally, a year and a half into that, and he's starting to live up a bit to that. And the fact that he is more upset, is more animated, and more, I'd say, passionate about, better runs is just a testament to the fact that, like, this is where he should have been. I said, I think 4 or 5 weeks ago, or maybe 3, it was after the first of this 4-race stretch, where I was like, okay, that's awesome. Prove you can do it again. Prove you can compete better. Yep. And he's done that. And that should be the bar that he's held to, just like any other driver. It shouldn't just be he's got incrementally better every week. It's like, this is the results that the last year and a half have been building to. And credit to Booty Barker on that. Like, from what it seemed like right before this, even when they did the crew swap, like, everything was falling apart at the seams. And it seems like he's been the one who's been able to keep everything together. And
he's the soul. He's the soul of that 23 team. Yeah, he's the heart and soul of that team, man. He really just runs a tight ship.
I want to ask you, Jarrett, because a couple months ago you said, and I think most of us agreed with you, Bubba Wallace would be a waste of a playoff spot. Do you still agree with that statement now after he has 4 straight top 10s?
See, if he runs like he is now, no.
Sure.
No.
But this isn't historically something that Bubba is normally doing. I mean, if he runs well at Watkins Glen, for instance, if he runs well at tracks that aren't Daytona, I don't think he is.
He has for the last 4 weeks. Road courses aside, I don't expect a super strong.
He was even joking about it after getting the pole. He's like, Watkins Glen, it's like one of my best shots.
See, anything can happen in NASCAR, and I always look back to the 2008 season and that style of playoffs. Or Chase, I should say. We saw Dale Jr. and Kyle Busch equally have phenomenal regular seasons, and then they just pooped the bed when the chase come around. So,
I mean, if I have to look at a couple of these guys that are winners that are locked in right now, I mean, if we're judging off the last 10 weeks, he's honestly a better fit guy to be in the playoffs competing than Kyle Busch. If we're looking at other guys who have gotten wins, Chase Briscoe, what's he done since his win? I know we got a top 10. I'm not saying this to mess with you, Danny, but Alex Bowman has not been inspirational.
I know.
Look at William Byron's stats the last 3
Byron,
months.
yes, Byron's been atrocious.
Hold on. Speaking of teams, speaking of Chase Briscoe, let's talk about Stewart-Haas Racing for a second. First off, Kevin Harvick, we have to check on his back because he's going to need surgery from all this team carrying he's been doing all season.
We're 15 minutes, and this is the first we've, I think, mentioned Kevin Harvick.
Yeah,
so that's probably good. Thanks for doing this, Derek.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, but no, first off, Kevin Harvick, man, just breaking that winless streak. I mean, what was it, 65 race winless streak.
Michigan's a good place to break winless streaks.
It is. Yeah. But so awesome run by Kevin Harvick there, and 15 different winners, and just again, Stewart-Haas Racing. It just seems that there's been really only like 1 or 2 cars competing all season. Like, look, I know we've seen some good runs from Eric Almirola, but it's never sustainable. And then Chase Briscoe, like you just mentioned, I mean, what's he really done since that?
Bubba has as many top 5s this year as Chase Briscoe has top 10.
Now, granted, he was competing for the victory, at Dirt Bristol, but that was so long ago now.
And what was the other one? Where's the other one he spun out? Was it Darlington? No.
Charlotte? No.
Kansas? Charlotte.
Oh, was it Charlotte?
It was Charlotte, yeah.
Okay. I was
like, it's an intermediate of some kind.
So, yeah, and then obviously Cole Custer. We don't even need to talk about
him
anymore.
He's there.
Yeah, he's there.
He's keeping the seat warm for Kyle.
Didn't he get a top 10 like a week ago?
He did.
Put some respect on his name while we still can.
He got 50% of his top 10s this season in the last 2 weeks.
Isn't it sad how the best driver in 41 since Kurt Busch is going to be his brother?
But the point is, though, is that Harvick and that 14, they have been a steady rock for that team all season long. And now, honestly, you can make the case, and this may be a hot take to some, you can make a case for him being a championship contender.
Harvick.
He's in it. Yes. Yes.
I've been saying this all summer. You look at how close the playoff field is right now, and I think that his experience, I think, will be a lot better compared to a lot of these younger guys. A lot of these guys that are in the playoffs right now they have a lot less experience, or this might be their first time in the playoffs. So he's got 6 top 5s, 12 top 10s. The only thing that I question with Harvick, because I think he has the speed to be a top 5 guy each week at this point. The team's getting better as the year goes on. This dude doesn't lead laps. Of the guys qualified at the moment for the playoffs, he's 15th of 16 in laps led this season. And if he's going to compete for a championship and compete for more wins, he's got to lead more laps. He's led 51 laps this year.
And I think like 30 or 40 of them came this week.
38 came on Sunday, yes.
Yeah, that's right. You said 38, yeah.
He had 13 laps in the first 22 races this year.
I mean, he's able to get the good finishes, though, at least. But, yeah, he has to improve, just lead some laps there, get a win or two during the playoffs.
I'll say this for Kevin Harvick's credit. His team owner is Tony Stewart, and that's the one guy who should have taught every NASCAR fan to never doubt that he can do anything once the playoffs start, because he did exactly that in 2011. So, and that was in a system that didn't reward it the same way that this system does. And if he did that in this system today, that'd clearly be a championship.
See, and again, we'll get to it a little later, but that's why I laugh when people are like, well, Blaney and Truex haven't won. Do they really deserve to be in the playoffs? It's like Tony Stewart didn't, and he put one of the greatest runs ever. So
we're going to save that for later, though.
I could see
debate. No, I can't wait.
I could see Kevin Harvick putting together a run, though. I mean, he has a lot of good tracks coming up for him in the playoffs. Darlington's one that he ran really well at when he was running really poorly earlier in the year. I don't think he's a favorite by any means. I'd put Elliott, Chastain, Larson, someone people are sleeping on. I wouldn't put him as like one of my top 5 favorites, but I mean, this season, everyone is so kind of even in that playoff run that I think he has a bit of an edge.
Really quick, can I? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, guy in the chat, Hunter Nixon fishing. He's a fishing friend of mine down in the Chattanooga area. He brings up a good point. Kevin Harvick is the most underappreciated driver, and I kind of agree with him on that, because I feel like this season we don't appreciate him in the same way that we did in years past, I think.
Because he's had his worst statistical year in 12 seasons.
And also basically a lot of the fan base is just so glad he's not winning 9.
I just think everyone's caught up in the moment, and I know you had a point, Darian, and maybe this was it. But like what we've been saying, Chase Elliott, I think, is kind of, in my opinion, the clear favorite. But after that, there's about 10 guys that I think are tied. Like I think all the way from Christopher Bell to Ross Chastain, I give them about equal chances of making the championship four. And Harvick might sneak into that group. So that's why I agree with your point, Jarrett, that he's a championship contender only because about a dozen guys I think are legit championship contenders right now.
Can I reveal to y'all who my least favorite guy is entering the playoffs? And this might be a surprise to some.
Like who you think will be the worst one? Or
yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. Just as of right now, my least favorite guy entering the playoffs right now, and this is just based on recent races. Kyle Busch has yet to score a top 10 in the past 8 races. Like that's concerning to me. That's something that I pay more attention to there.
But that first round has Bristol.
Yeah, but again, past 8 races, no top 10s at all. What's going on here? What's going on with KFB, man? Like, look, I get, he's having, other stuff going on behind the scenes, but 0 top 10s, not a single top 10 during that time span. And then, it obviously didn't help that he DNF'd out of the last race, but yeah, that's something that I think some people need to pay a lot more attention to. I get he's locked in the playoffs, but it's off of that one dirt Bristol win that, wouldn't have happened if Tyler Reddick and Chase Briscoe didn't, take each other out there.
Let's not forget, we're going back to Richmond. He was close to winning that one earlier this year. So. Yeah,
true. So, we'll see if he can turn it around a little bit.
The tape issue happened to him. But
we'll see if he can turn it around. But, as of right now, I'm not feeling him right now.
You know what's crazy to me to look at is looking back at the 3 races before this 8-race streak. He was finishing third, second. Like, yeah. This year in a lot of ways is very streaky for people in general. I mean, aside from Elliott being really far ahead of the rest, I don't see anyone so far who you could say week in and week out has been a top 5 contender, and finished in the top 5 at the same time. You could talk about Ross Chastain. He's been up there really fast. He has the most top 5s out of anyone this year. Only person actually to have more to have double-digit top 5s this year. But at the same time, you can look at Blaney. Blaney's led in 18 of the 23 races. No one else has led 13.
Oh gosh.
That's actually a wild stat. I didn't realize that.
We're just like giving a big drum roll ready to tee up the playoff conversation a bit. You look at some of the other guys. I mean, William Byron. William Byron has 5 top 10s this year, led 611 laps, only bested by Chase Elliott. So it's like, I feel like whoever positions themselves to have the best streak of races in the playoffs is at this point the favorite. Yes, Elliott has that big buffer of points, but Kevin Harvick proved in 2020 it doesn't really matter if you have a bad stretch when the last round comes up before the final 4. So, Blaney or Truex could miss it, but at the same time, if they make it, they could be somebody who could go on one of the best championship runs in recent memory compared to the lead up to the playoffs. Joey Logano is someone who could. He's proved in 2018 he was able to. So I hate, because every year we always say that it's wide open, but it really is.
It really is this year. I mean, again, you can make a case for like maybe 10, 12 of the current guys locked in, like why they could win the championship.
At this point, we don't know what the true statuses would be with Kurt Busch, so we don't know where that's going to be when we get to the playoffs either.
Yeah.
I'm operating off the fact that NASCAR hasn't given any reason to say he's not going to be in, as much as I think me and a lot of other fans have questioned. So at this rate, if he comes back, Kurt Busch is somebody who, with the way 2311 is doing, could very easily be up there. I believe, isn't Bubba using Kurt Busch's team while he's out?
Yes.
His pit crew, yep.
So if that pit crew gets moved back to the 45, why couldn't Kurt Busch go on a run? I think it's pretty easy to say that Kurt Busch is a better driver than Bubba right now. So Kurt Busch could be someone who could go on a run with these fast cars.
If Ty Gibbs could finish 10th after a speeding penalty in that car, I think Kurt would have been a contender for the win, probably much like Bubba, much like Harvick. And one final note on Harvick, and we're giving him a lot of credit, a lot of props. I don't want to take away from Kevin Harvick fans, first big moment in almost 2 years. But this was a typical NASCAR race where you have to have enough speed to put yourself in position. But let's not pretend that the two Trackhouse cars were going to win this race if Christopher Bell doesn't clear himself off of Ross Chastain's bumper. Denny Hamlin might have won this race if he doesn't have an issue on pit road, as he's prone to do. Ty Gibbs wasn't going to win this race, but he would have been in the top 5 as well. So there were a lot of things that had to go right for Harvick to finally get this win, just like there were a lot of things that had to go right for Kyle Busch to get his win at Bristol Dirt. It's just NASCAR. But when we talk about Harvick as a legit title threat, is SHR back, I think it's important to keep some of that in perspective, that he won. Yes, great. But remember, he led 13 laps all season before this race. And I think that, that still rings true a little bit.
Yeah, that's big. My big sticking point with him. I think every driver but Elliott right now has one of those things where you could be like, okay, they're a title contender, but this needs to be improved on. And that's his. I mean, before this, he was 16th of 16 of the guys currently in the playoffs before this week. So. But speaking, you talked about the Trackhouse guys. Like, what the hell is Bell doing?
Yeah, look, hey, first off, let me say this, Mr. Bell, David Bell from NR Night in America. Look, I understand, thank you for watching, the racing and stuff, but
dad.
Bro, what's going on, man? What's going on?
Dude, this makes like the way that people address Tom Logano look like child.
Hey, you gotta, what's going on? Hey, because the reason I'm addressing him is because he calls us out when we mess up on stream. So I'm like, hey, talk to him, man. What's going on, man? I was just saying, because I was watching the replay and I'm like, he just came up on him. And now some people had the freaking audacity to blame Ross Chastain for that. That was not Ross Chastain's fault at all. Bell kept coming up and up and up. It's like, what else is Chastain supposed to do? Just, oh, man.
What was frustrating was Chastain had just pit. So he not only had better tires, he had the momentum from running the outside lane. It was like, just let him go by. This isn't the kind of track where guys are going to slam on the brakes and let you in, and so I don't know. It was frustrating because that's another, like I said at the beginning, another Toyota driver who had a top 5 run going and choked effectively.
Yeah. I mean, Bell has had this,
to Darian, we have David Bell in the chat. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, thank you for being a good sport, sir. So he knows.
He watches everything on NASCAR YouTube.
Hey, he's always watching. That's amazing. Appreciate you.
Hey, that's what he said. Mistakes happen.
I didn't even realize he was there. So I swear I'm not sucking up when I say this. We've talked about for the past couple weeks that Bell has arguably been the best guy in the Toyota camp.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been faster than pretty much everyone at JGR. I mean, Denny Hamlin every other week is messing up. I think they said he had like 31 pit problems so far this year. That's insane. That's amazing. That is an amazing statistic that needs to have a graph every single week updated, because at this rate, he will update it once or twice a race. Kyle Busch, way off. Martin Truex Jr., you could argue that he might be faster than Christopher Bell, but Bell has double the top 5s as him, and he has a win, and Truex doesn't. So right now, if we're talking of those 8 or 9 drivers we're putting in the championship conversation, he's got to be one of those guys we talk about.
I agree. Good stuff. Real quick, can we mention though that Noah Gragson was making 3 wide moves in the top 5 until he crashed himself? Can we mention that?
Bubba Wallace said on the radio, "Hey, he's got to learn sometime." I'm like, "Well, yeah."
He did. Unfortunately, and I know we'll talk good things about Noah Gragson a little later on, but 9 Cup starts this year. Jarrett's been throwing a lot of stats out tonight. I want to throw one out. 9 Cup starts this year. 5 DNFs for Noah Gragson.
Should I do a bad seasons chat? Let me know. Should I do a bad season?
You can't do that in the year.
Hey, no, 5 DNFs though. Come on, man.
He ain't made enough starts. Okay, go do a bad season on Chase Elliott 2015. Then go ahead.
I think I've done a bad seasons on Kyle Busch 2004. Actually,
you gonna do bad seasons? Danica Patrick 2018.
But hey, 5 DNFs,
every season
9
is a
starts.
bad season for Danica.
No, but that's a crazy stat line though. I didn't know that. Oh boy.
But he had a good run for the first half of this race. Really good. Actually very impressive.
It's amazing watching him and Ty Gibbs together. It's like the two have magnets to each other's cars and just always seem to find each other out there. But both of them looked like veterans. I mean, especially Gragson in that 16 car, which is not as good as the 45 car, I would say. I'd venture out to say that. they looked like veterans out there. And I think even Jeff Burton pointed out that Noah like decided not to clear himself when he was clear and in his words, and I will take his word over what I would think on it. And his words was to show more respect out there when he could have passed them, I think, for third. And he ended up, I think, falling back to fourth with that. So I think what Gregson's doing, one, I think he impressed everybody out there with that. But two, if that's exactly what he was doing, he's playing the long game on that. And as for Ty Gibbs, he's cup ready. I know I was iffy on it before this week.
Are you convinced now?
I'm convinced.
Yeah.
I'm convinced. That was impressive to watch. And he was someone. I think a lot of people I saw on social media were like, I thought that was Kurt Busch out there the whole time, and it was actually Ty.
Do you feel a part-time schedule for him next year would benefit him?
No, go full time. Go full time.
Okay. Hey, he's all in. He's all in.
What's he have to learn from Xfinity anymore?
Yeah.
It makes losing Kyle Busch a lot easier, I think, knowing that Ty will probably hold his own.
At this point, I want to see Ty Gibbs go to Cup, because now that Gregson's going to Cup, I want to see those two have a really good battle for their last chance in an Xfinity Series championship.
And Noah Gragson versus Ty Gibbs, I think that's going to be a battle we're going to see for years to come. Now, obviously, I feel like Ty Gibbs will have the edge early on, based on the team. But for equipment. But, it'll progress eventually.
What Ty Gibbs did is he made Joe Gibbs' life so much easier with this Kyle Busch stuff, because there's nothing that Kyle Busch has over Joe Gibbs now. Like, you could be what, are you going to suffer? Is your Ty going to come up and run mediocre for 2 years? Based on the last 3 weeks, and we'll see what happens with Richmond. Probably not. Not.
And we get to see the Monster 18 too in the Cup. Oh, that'll look really.
That would look pretty sharp. Really nice. That would look good.
And we'll probably see the Monster Girls more, so even better for a lot of fans.
There you go.
Oh, young Ty Gibbs around all those Monster Girls. Be careful, bud.
I don't know.
Spoken from experience, Danny.
No. Never mind. We'll talk about that.
Sounded like a wise sage there with
like I've been there. I've been there.
Just ask the other driver to 18 how he feels about Monster now. So, anyways, moving on. Moving on.
That's a little rowdy there, man.
Moving on to what? What do we have next? Do we want to talk about the playoff situation?
Yes, please.
I think we should. Rant. Real quick, I do want to say this before we get right into it and get a little negative here. I want to be positive.
Negative.
Michigan.
It's the best season ever.
Darian's been ripping on the playoffs when none of us bring it up all year. This is his moment to shine. I need to put something out there because, like I said, Michigan holds a special place in my heart. They had their best attended race since 2016, even with a rain delay. Sold out the infield for the first time since Dale Jr. won there. Awesome stuff. More tracks need one date. Just want to say that.
Yeah. No, I agree. The visuals were great, even with the rain concerns, for sure.
And it was crazy. Both the IndyCar and the NASCAR race had both had rain delays at the same time.
And they finished with the checkered flag flew within 5 minutes.
By the time, after the checkered flag had flown for the NASCAR race, I think there was 3 or 2 laps to go for IndyCar.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was crazy.
Well, the floor is yours, Darian. We all know the point situation. 15 winners. Blaney is now the last guy in. He's second in the regular season standings, but he's only 19 points the good over Martin Truex Jr., who's now out, minus 19. He's fourth in the regular season standings. So are you excited about 15 winners? Are you frustrated that Truex and or Blaney will miss at this point?
I'm happy and sad. Happy because 15 different winners. Oh my gosh, focus. There we go. Yes, 15 different winners. That's awesome. That's cool. That's exactly what this next gen car was supposed to do. Bring back that parity. And hell, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season we could potentially be flirting with the record, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
What is
we'll
the
see
record?
What happens.
I don't even know.
19.
Oh, okay.
What year was that?
2001.
Oh,
19 winners that year? I did not know that.
Yeah,
and that was less than 36 races. Wasn't it?
It was first year of 36 races.
That was the first year. Okay.
Yeah, and then 18 winners the following season in 2002. So, hey, we're going back to that early 2000s parity.
So these years when there was 60 or to 90 races or whatever, that doesn't count in this list, I guess?
Richard Petty won them all.
Yeah, Richard Petty and David Pearson usually won about
that is true. That is true.
So look, I'm happy, about that. It's entertaining for us, but The fact is, to have two drivers inside the top five, even be at risk of missing the playoffs is absolutely ridiculous. And it just goes to show that once again, like there's just, how do I explain this? If NASCAR fixes one flaw with the playoffs, there's always going to be another one that pops up. And this is one of those other ones, like, look, I get Chase Elliott, he's 125 points ahead, or no, excuse me. He's like 125 points ahead.
He's not going to lose that.
So look, I mean, like, he already has the regular season championship on lock basically at this point. So now Blaney, he has to win. I feel like he has to win.
Truex for sure does. Blaney at this point doesn't, but he might, because there's still Daytona and Watkins Glen to go.
But just the fact that this is even being discussed is ridiculous. I mean, look, I had put out a tweet that David Lynn had talked about in a video yesterday, and appreciate y'all watching that. I had said how I personally value the IndyCar championship more than the NASCAR championship at this point. This may be a hot take to some, and let me address this first. I get that when you talk about branding, the NASCAR Cup Series championship is obviously more recognizable than the IndyCar championship. Obviously. I mean, look at the ratings. I don't need to go too much, detail into that. But when you look at, the seriousness of it, the prestige of it, to have 6 guys in contention for the championship with 4 races to go that are like 50 points apart. The top 4 specifically is separated by a total of 33 points. You have guys who have won a bunch of races all season and others who don't even have a single win yet competing for the championship, but they're so consistent. They're being rewarded for consistency. And in my opinion, a consistent point system is the fairest way to crown a champion. So they're being rewarded, while on the other side, consistency is unfortunately being taken for granted. And look at this shirt. Got Terry Labonte, Bobby Labonte, two of the most consistent drivers in NASCAR history, okay? They weren't guys that won a whole lot of races and stuff. They were just simply the most consistent. Look at Terry Labonte's championship in 96, and Bobby's in 2000. Not a whole lot of race wins there. And it's getting really ridiculous that, now the top 5 is at risk of missing the playoffs and stuff. Look, I mean, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but it's crazy that Ryan Blaney's consistency is not going to be rewarded, it seems like, unless he gets a victory. I mean, yeah, he has a win in the All-Star race, but that don't count. So
give him some money.
Ordinarily, wait till a little bit later for Super Chats. Maybe we'll get that later, but I got to acknowledge Cody Workman gave $1.99 and said playoff system be like Darian's Top Golf score. Poop.
Yeah. Wasn't too. But
yeah, I mean, real quick, kind of bounce off that, because I don't entirely disagree. It's an awkward situation that 2 guys that are top 5 in the regular traditional standings, one of them is likely going to miss unless they both win, and then Kurt Busch will get knocked out. And I think at that point, nobody would really have a serious argument against Kurt Busch missing, unfortunately, because he's missed a handful of races now. But for the time being, it is awkward. And NASCAR, I've said for a while, they need to do a better job promoting the championship 4. I think the way college basketball makes a big deal, they raise banners if you get to the Final Four. You don't have to win the national title. If you have a Final Four season, your school will be talking about it and celebrating it for years and years and years. I think NASCAR should be doing that more with their championship 4, and I think they need to make a bigger deal about their regular season champion, because how many races are in an IndyCar season? 20?
Less than I think it's less than 20.
Is it less than 20 now?
Let me look it up.
But there's 20. Already said they're going to put it up to, I think, 23.
Yeah.
Well, there are 26 Cup Series races in the regular season, and we do give out a trophy at the end of those 26 for whoever's leading the points, the same way you would an IndyCar. So I think if you want to appease fans like me to an extent, but more so you, Darian, who's really preaching about consistency, NASCAR needs to make a bigger deal about that. And I think it should be that they should have a podium at the end of the season, a big stage that the driver comes out and gets to take his regular season championship trophy. It shouldn't just be on the grid. They hand it to him and take a photo for Twitter.
17, by the way. 17 races, by the way.
So, yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to add. I mean, NASCAR wanted parity. They got parity with this new car. They got a lot of winners. I can't deny that it's a cool story going into Richmond, especially a track that both Blaney and Truex dominated in the spring. Basically 1v1 now, these next 3 weeks until we get another winner. it's Blaney versus Truex going to a couple tracks that they're great at. Blaney at Richmond, Truex at Watkins Glen. Like, you can't deny it's not fun for the casual fan, or even for some of the hardcore fans who've watched every week and seen what it's taken to get to this point. There is something to watch for. But yeah, Blaney and Truex both have a better shot at the title than, I'd say, Suarez, Briscoe.
Well, they're in the top 5. They're in the top 5.
Well,
so
that's what I'm saying.
field.
So the fact that they're in jeopardy of missing, and like Bubba could go win Daytona, and he's been good lately, but like McDowell could go win Daytona. And I'm sorry, Jarrett, but he's not
he's
a better
not.
contender than Truex.
He's not.
Blaney.
I never would say that.
So when I said earlier, there's Elliott, and then there's like 10 guys. Blaney and Truex would be in that 10 if they make the playoffs, and there's a good chance that one doesn't. And it is awkward, but I don't know. Everything's about wins these days. That's how NASCAR's built it.
As much because I think of any of us here, I'm the one who hates the playoffs the most. But is there really anything that is going to happen this year that NASCAR would even tweak the playoffs with? That's my big question with all this, because you look at the history of the playoffs. You have Ryan Newman almost winning the championship. Got 0 wins in the season, and a winner and wins mean more in 2014. You have
That was a
Kyle
bad
Busch missing.
format, though. I will never defend the 14, 15, 16 format.
No, but it still always gets lumped in with a lot of this. You got Kyle Busch, even with the current format, would have won in 2015, missing a third of the season. Kevin Harvick with his amazing run in 2020. NASCAR doesn't throw the caution when it's raining at Texas. That ultimately costs Harvick, because that's when he hits the wall when it's raining. And the Martinsville one wouldn't have even mattered had that been the fact. So I don't really see this shaking anything. The only thing I could really see shaking it up is if there's such a loud fan outcry if Elliott gets screwed. Because Elliott fans are let's be real. If that's the only way I could see NASCAR making a big change, is if there's that big of a response. But they didn't do that for 3 different times with Jeff Gordon. They didn't do that with the 2014 format. They left that alone for 2 more years.
Dale
They didn't do it in 04.
Dale Jr. was never up there enough times, I think, for them to be in that situation.
No, he wasn't. And even without the chase, it wouldn't have mattered. The best he would have done is, I think, like 2nd or 3rd. But if they're not going to change it for some of the most popular drivers, so they're not going to change it for some of the most ridiculous situations, and then go ahead and market those situations like they have with Harvick and Busch, like, are they really going to change it for this? Like that, I don't think anything is really going to change it. This is what they want. They want the chaos and the entertainment over what a lot of old school racing fans would argue. I would argue as well, as more legitimacy. Like, they want the entertainment. They stress entertainment when talking about this format. So
I think it's also,
I don't see it changing.
This may be counterintuitive in some ways. I think it's also for simplicity's sake. They like the win and you're in line, because anyone can understand that. You don't have to think about, oh, he's 12 positions back, but he had more in the stages, so he's actually 6 points behind this guy. No, they just want you to look up and say, if he wins, he's in. Simplify it. I think that's another reason they want to dumb it down for the largest possible audience possible.
Which, I mean, and I've argued this for a couple years now. Let's just go to the dumbest downed one of all and just go with, hey, we should have every driver in the playoffs, have the playoff be 1 round for 36 races, and whoever has the most points win that. But like, this is what we have. It's
like, I'm saying wins are easier to understand.
Yeah.
Like, the average person sees a trophy and a win and is like, that's better, way better than, oh, that good 4th place finish,
When NASCAR is catering more to the fan that thinks because Ryan Newman won 8 races in 2003, he should have had championship over Matt Kenseth.
And I've seen arguments for that. I've seen arguments for that too, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
but didn't he crash like every race he wasn't really great in?
Yes, he had 8 or 9 DNFs or something that year. It wasn't a perfect format. I'm not saying that was. No format is, but you have to look at this format in the scope of NASCAR history. If you look at, they've had it, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. This is 6th year of having it. They're not going to change it next year, so probably have it at least 7. If you want to add the 3 years before that, because so many people usually do, it's been here almost a decade. This win and you're in style playoff has been here almost a decade. It's the 2nd longest lasting format in NASCAR history, if you want to be completely simple with it. I don't think NASCAR is going to change it, at least not anytime soon, unless the way that fans want to understand the sport itself changes. Like, people want to understand it more for wins. They want wins to mean all. And now you have this sort of battle between more newer age fans and older age fans that are watching other things, like for Darian's case, IndyCar and F1. So, I mean, I can't deny it makes NASCAR unique. It sets it apart from other motorsports. It sets it apart from most other sports. But I feel like if you want to make it more for competitive legitimacy, cut the field down to 12 and have the playoffs be 7 races instead of 10, so that you're not just eliminating people who don't belong there anyway. That's about the only thing I think I could see NASCAR doing.
I saw a tweet, and I know we hate comparing NASCAR to stick and ball sports, but if we are going to make that comparison, because stick and ball sports reign supreme and go for largely many of the same audiences NASCAR does, I can't remember who it was on Twitter compared the NASCAR playoff system to the NCAA March Madness, effectively the college basketball tournament at the end of the season, as far as they want the crazy upsets. You could go 30-0 in the regular season, get one of those 1 seeds and get upset by Loyola Chicago and as like the 12 seed. And they want that. And that happens every year. And that's why, again, they raise banners for Final Four appearances, because they know crazy things happen in those final couple of games that can cause the best team all year to lose the championship. So I think it's an accurate comparison in terms of chaos and in terms of upsets. And I think that's what NASCAR's tried to model themselves after, which, agree or disagree, that's what they're, March Madness blows out ratings every year.
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to do.
You are right. I mean, from the chaos aspect, the entertainment aspect of it, Matt Crafton in 2019 was entertaining for that reason, that he didn't win a single race and still won a championship.
Well, I see Bruce in the chat saying in a super chat that, he doesn't want a NASCAR champion that can't win a regular season race because consistency is like kissing your sister.
How would you know? How would you know that?
Well, it's a figure of speech.
But what is the figure of speech?
I wasn't going to read that out loud.
Anyway.
I need someone to explain this to me.
You'd get it if you're from Alabama.
Okay.
Well, anyway, what I want to get to is, you saw that with Tony Stewart. You saw that in 2011 with Tony Stewart, and most fans, especially newer and younger fans, view that as one of the greatest championship runs in NASCAR history. So I don't see, it's definitely nuanced, but at the same time, like, there needs to be a bit more of a threshold when it comes to, I think, competitiveness. I wouldn't say that letting the top 10 points locked in would be good, but when you have 2 guys in the top 5 this year, like Truex, like Blaney, guys like I talked about Blaney, Blaney has been up front in more races than any other driver this season, yet according to that mentality of thought, should not be in the playoffs.
He didn't win, so no championship.
I'm going to be blunt here. I think that's a stupid way of thinking about it, because Blaney consistently has been ahead of pretty much any other guy we're talking about in the championship battle, with the exception of maybe Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, and you could argue Kyle Larson. So there needs to be, I feel like NASCAR needs to have more of a balancing act with it. We don't see this every year. We've talked about it earlier in the show.
That's true. This will be an outlier.
Hey, but real question though, and then we can move on. But like, I just thought about this too. This is really deep in my opinion. But at the end of the day, like, do you think Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex Jr. care if they make the playoffs or not?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I think they
Truex
care.
and James Small were taking shots at each other because this last week.
See, I don't know. Just because sometimes, like, I don't know, just when some of these drivers talk about, the playoffs and stuff, I feel like, from what I get, from the way they answered the questions about it and stuff, I feel like, yeah, if they make it, it's great. But if they don't, then it's like, okay,
drivers
we'll just go for a win.
I don't trust drivers in the heat of the moment. I think they're going to play it off, not get the heat put on their team. Like, I
think it's more like Harvick wins this weekend. His first thought is, yes, I finally broke that winless streak. His second thought is, oh yeah, I'm in the playoffs. Like I think that's what you're getting at, Darian. I do agree that sometimes does set in here and there.
I think that, theoretically, both of those guys still have to think, even if one of them wins, they can still get into the playoffs, because these next 2 tracks are really great tracks for Martin Truex Jr., both Richmond and Watkins Glen. He's really good at those tracks. But then also Daytona is really good for Ryan Blaney. If theoretically both those 2 win, I think that would kick Kurt Busch out because he's missed so much at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll end my thoughts off here and just say, like, I've said this, basically every year on this show. And people have asked me on different streams, like, because I don't like the playoffs. Like, well, one thing a lot of people get asked that don't like the playoffs is, why do you still watch? One, I just watch week to week. Like,
It's still a
as
race.
somebody, yeah, I like watching the individual races themselves. As someone who's not a fan of the playoffs, like, yeah, it's fun to talk about the scenarios. It's fun to see what the different drivers do. And I will never deny that the drivers don't change their driving style for the playoffs. I don't think they don't care. I think when Kevin Harvick, for instance, in 2020 said, they're not like the ones that Earnhardt and Petty won, I'd rather win races. I think he's saying that to just get the, cameras off of him quick. But as a fan, I don't put the championship on as much of a pedestal as I probably would have during the Chase era. And that's a preference thing, but I noticed it's a preference thing that is shared amongst a large contingent of NASCAR's most loyal fans. Is they don't value the championship as much as, say, NASCAR would want them to. The TV ratings speak for it. The fact that the most watched race in the playoffs is usually the 5th race, Talladega, not the championship race, where it used to be the championship race would be more watched than any other of the last 10 races. I think that there's things NASCAR can do to switch it up, but this does make the regular season more engaging for fans getting into it. If you do win, you're in. I mean, I can't say that the regular season doesn't matter per se, because every week somebody new could get locked in, or in this case now kicked out with a 16th, 17th, 18th winner.
Yeah, exactly. Every race has playoff implications. I think that's what NASCAR was hoping for. And yeah, it's dumbed down. It's a little simplified. I'm on the fence. You have a hard time with it. Darian has a hard time with it. I admit that it is awkward, especially in this kind of special case when two guys so consistent all year haven't won. Like, how often is it that the top 2 of the top 5 in points don't have a win at this point? That seems pretty rare. It's awkward, but I don't. It doesn't take too much away for me. It's not preferable. Like I said, I'd rather see Truex and Blaney in than a couple other guys. I think they're more deserving. I think they'll be more competitive in the final 10. But it kind of is what it is. And the reason I'm shrugging my shoulders is I don't want NASCAR to change it. I think that's the worst. I think NASCAR has 2 options: keep pretty much this exact format in place for another 15, 20 years, and people will just accept it as the norm, or go back to the Winston Cup format. It's one or two. And since I don't think they're going to do that one, I have a hard time having this conversation, because I just don't think there's anything productive to come out of it.
I wouldn't say full-time Winston Cup. I mean, I know a lot of fans have accepted, stage racing. I'm indifferent on it. I keep the points, fine. Let them keep racing. But people have been fine with that. People have been fine with a lot of the changes to different tracks, like the Atlanta stuff, short-term stuff like that. There's been a lot of changes that NASCAR fans have gotten used to, but this is one consistently now for 20 years, NASCAR fans have only become more and more hostile towards. And that's, even with a lot of fans having fallen away that don't like this kind of thing. So I would not be upset whatsoever if we had the same kind of race format we have now, let the stage points be the way they are, and go full Winston Cup points. Actually, I think it would make during the race more important than other racing series like F1 and IndyCar for each and every week.
So when I first started my channel was like the second year with stage points, and I made a video and I said that I liked stage points, and to a point I still do, because mainly the fact that you'd have races go by and a driver could be really, really great in the first however little bit of it, then something goes wrong at the end, and it's like that whole day didn't matter. That's why I like stage points to an extent, because it does make what happens early in the race matter.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and we can argue all about this all day, but I think this year is going to put it to the test more than anything else. If nothing changes after this year, this is the format you have until the 2040s.
I just think you should, because I just think major changes will hurt its legitimacy amongst fans worse than anything it's doing currently. I think that's part of the reason people hate the playoffs, is because every 3 years it was changing. How can you take the current format seriously when you're expecting it to change in 3 years? NASCAR was constantly in the lab fine-tuning it. So how are you supposed to take this current format seriously when NASCAR is not already looking for a way to change it? You keep something in place for a long enough time, it just becomes the norm. I think younger fans coming in will accept this win in year. And I already see it. We see it in the comments in our videos all the time when it's like, did Chastain, was that a dirty move at Coda? young fans, largely young, some old fans in the comments, got to do what you got to do to win. It's all about winning. Trophies are the only thing that matter. It's a changing philosophy. Drivers think that way too now, and that's just going to be the future.
It feeds into the integrity argument we've had all season too. I mean,
yeah,
the integrity will never improve if this is the standard that we hold for it. I think that's why the long-term repercussions of this, it's a lot more than just what this year holds. I personally have not taken the championship seriously like this, just, since 14, simply because, the reason is not because of anything having to do performance-wise. It's just to drum up entertainment. They've said it. They've like the people in charge have said they want a more entertaining championship. They want Game 7 moments, and they're going to force it, like as Tree would put it, like putting Joan Rivers or whatever her name was under the knife 30 times, and that's what they've done with the championship. So I watch it for every race itself, and that's why I say, like, even if you don't like the championship format, it doesn't mean that you just don't like NASCAR in general. You can watch it for every single race itself for the entertainment of it. It's still entertaining whether you like the championship or not.
I like what Keith Campbell said in the chat. He said, always remember the NASCAR rule book is written in pencil. It can change at any time.
Yeah. And if you don't like the point system, come up with your own point system in your head. There you go. You keep track of your own championship. Like, this is my champion. Like Jared, who's leading the Winston Cup standings? Chase Elliott by
Chase Elliott.
Yeah, by like
206.
by like 200 points.
Yeah, I'm just saying this right now, and I'm not saying it as like a Chase hater like everyone thinks I am. I kind of want to see Chase get bounced in the round of 12 just to see the fan response. Because the same fans who loved this format in 2020 and were ripping on Harvick fans and trolling Harvick and Harvick fans, I want to see them on the other end of it just to see what it's like. Yeah. Like just as a passive observer, I want to see the response.
As much as I think that would be chaotic and crazy, that's a pretty solid round for him. Texas, Talladega, and Charlotte Roval.
Anything
you never know. You never know.
Anything could happen. That's the double-edged sword of the format, good and bad, depending on how you look at it. Anything could happen.
But hey, at this point in the show, enough being a dead horse, right? Like, if nothing's going to change.
We spent the whole hour on this one race. I think it's time to move on.
We had some other races over the weekend.
Well, we'll blow through the ratings real quick because we're doing to end on a positive.
Let's end it on a positive note.
Yeah, there you go.
1.54 rating, 2.6 million viewers. That's a 5% increase over this weekend last year. That's actually the highest August, because maybe you should have two races, highest August, Michigan viewership since 2019. And actually, Jarrett made a note of this in our chat here, but this is the 5th week in a row of a ratings increase, and it still hit its normal 20% or so, roughly 513,000. We're in that key demo 18 to 49, so still skews a little older, but at least it's been consistent. And Xfinity hit 1 million viewers this week, which is up from last year. It was at around 950,000. So
this is really encouraging, because it was not looking good when they first made the switch to USA, but I think whatever it was, it's become better advertised and people are watching it.
We made the comment, one of you, I think Jarrett maybe made the comment last week that, this race on cable had a real shot at getting to 3 million viewers, which is pretty rare for a race, especially this late in the season. And I was like, man, I'm guessing low 2s, mid 2s, maybe 2.6 million for a race that started an hour and a half late. Damn. That's not bad.
Yeah,
that's not bad
at all.
And again, if you even want to feed into the conversation we had then, that's a point towards the format. The ratings have been pretty stable, like with this, and now this year going up. Can't deny that fact. The ratings may suffer in the fall because this format, people get burned out by the final few races, but it's carried these dry midsummer races that typically suffer dramatically. I think the playoff conversation, winning you're in, has carried the last month. I will say that. So, it's win one, lose one. I don't know.
Well, how about poll?
Oh, yes, that's right. The poll! The famous iceberg poll. What were the poll results for this week?
All right. Well, I put the poll up, asked what'd you think of the 2022 Firekeepers Casino 400, and 49% of you said it was a great race. 35% said good. That's 84% net positive. 11% said average. 2% below average, and 3% said bad. A 5% net negativity. Now, I was a little late to the gun tonight, so I didn't get the first comment right off the bat, but I can get to it really quick. By the way, we had almost 15,000 votes this week.
Whoa, that's big.
Getting back up there. But looking here, good Lord, there's a lot of comments. The first one, by the way, was from Spencer5478. Would you guys say positive, negative, or meme?
Meme. Where is it? Oh, Eric. Let's just put meme down for Eric. Yeah, meme.
You said, man, what a good race at Michigan. And let's add more playoff picture chaos to the mix as well. Parity. That is now 15 different winners this season.
Oh, that was actually positive. Okay. Well, it wasn't a meme at all. It was a genuinely positive comment. Yep, I agree, man. Absolutely.
Look at the comments here. NASCAR Sam has the top comment. Says, I've been watching NASCAR for a decade now. Never have I ever been so happy to see a Kevin Harvick win.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, I agree.
Napa Racing Fan 927 says, Marty Snyder, everyone doubted Kevin Harvick would win today. Me. Really? I didn't. 4 wins in the last 6 races at Michigan, regardless of the generation of car. This is one of Kevin Harvick's best tracks. It's also nice to hear fans cheer for Harvick for a change instead of booing him.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you stop winning a lot.
And then also we got to see Piper Harvick.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
And this time the win didn't get taken away. Travis Carpenter said, what a race. Harvick got another win finally. Scary crash in stage 1. Glad everyone's okay. I agree.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Kyle Schaefer said, pretty good race. Cool to see Harvick win. Savor it. You never know when your last win will happen. Mm-hmm. I think all of us know that from our favorite drivers pre-2018.
Yeah.
Good to see you back, Eric.
Yeah.
Russ McCollum said, I'm a Wallace fan for sure, but it was good to see Harvick finally get a win. Great race, lots of battling for position, so lots of O's. Glad to see it won under green without overtime. Just good, hard racing. Again, can agree. Mm-hmm. Of course, Denny Delivers has to have a meme. When Rick Ware Racing is restarting in the top 20, JJ Yaley decides to pull his 2006 coming to the pit road and implode back onto the track into half the field.
That's right. I forgot about that incident. That's right.
And oddly enough, he took out his old car.
Yep, he wanted revenge.
And he was in the same Interstate Batteries colors that he was usually
in. Yeah, and that's what triggered him. And also, I think his only career Cup Series pole came at Michigan in the Interstate car. It triggered some memories there.
2007.
Yep, triggered some memories probably.
Yeah, he dropped to like 31st or something.
Yeah,
he was pretty awful in that race. I'm trying to find negative ones before. Someone said, Justin said, Dale Jr. did an amazing job calling the race. He should do it more often. I still think Rick Allen should. I don't get why they had him in the stands.
Yeah, what happened? They banished him to the stands.
So Rutledge Wood has disappeared from the tracks and or cities around the tracks altogether, and then now you got him in the stands. What's going on?
Yeah. Like I understood, like, oh, Rick Allen's not there. He has the day off. No, homie's in the stands posting videos from the section 112. Like,
did he just get a ticket? Is he even working for them?
No, hey, NBC wouldn't even give him a free ticket. Like,
I'm imagining freaking security having to like inspect his bag. And do you know who I am? And like, not necessarily.
He had to go through the whole thing, but NBC was like, nope, you're going in the stands today, bro.
It's funny because all the people who like Fox more than NBC were like, oh, NBC does is Dale Jr. It's like, well, no, there's a lot of other good to it. And it's like they've been downsizing every week. And it's like,
it's just Dale.
What do you have? Dale. But
Dale
is anything Dale?
Workhorse.
Pretty soon it's just going to be Junior all by himself. He'll be the lead commentator, the color commentator.
Is Dale Jr. going to buy the broadcasting rights to NASCAR?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Dirty Mo.
Hey, seriously though, like I am kind of concerned. I made a joke tweet about how Rutledge Wood was literally as far away from track as possible, and at Atlanta he annoyed everyone with the over dominance of the pole room, and then now it's like, is he just gone altogether?
He was at one race recently, but you're right. I didn't think about it, but he was not at the USA race. Was he at the IndyCar race? Was he maybe doing their Nashville coverage?
I never saw him.
Did you see a man in a plaid shirt on Broadway?
Well, yeah, no? I guess he wouldn't have been at the track, so I don't know.
He's stuck in the Dawsonville. He's stuck in the Dawsonville pool room. That's why they kept him. Yeah.
Hey, Dale, I am here in Danny B's house with Shugs.
You just hear in the background, what the hell are you doing in my house?
Get out of here.
Oh, I've been spotted.
Requesting extraction.
Rutledge just breaks into random people's homes at the areas near.
I can see him doing that.
He's like, I'm right here. I just found a plaid shirt in his closet. I'm gonna take it.
Yes,
I just want
I'm-
to see like
I'm-
the shaky cam effect whenever they get caught and they're like on the run.
I'm under the bed of Eric Estep. Hey, what are you doing here? Back to you guys at Texas Motor Speedway.
Looking here. Last comment before we get to the negative ones, because those are always spicy. Andrew Meyer every week leaves his entire list of favorite races to least favorite races of the season, and he put the Michigan race 11th of 27 because he also added in the duels all-star race clash. 11th of 27, so it's right ahead of the Nashville race, right behind the first Kansas race. So,
not bad.
and I'm gonna get on down to those negative spicy ones and make sure that I can read them on air. Let's see. Good to do.
Just bleep out the cuss word.
Holy Jesus! I'm not gonna read this one, but if you guys can see that.
Oh no!
Did they do one of those copy pastas? What is that?
Homie wrote a dissertation there.
Whoa.
But I'll read some of the shorter ones. So we'll just say this is the fifth and then go down from that. ABQ Doom Bush.
Is back.
Platt Knight, bad because Harvick won. Kyle Busch 05. Nobody likes Harvick wins. Always snooze fests at the end. Then we go past the giant bibliography. Bad. And
Was
then
it annotated?
it was not.
Oh
No.
It was actually it wasn't edited though. And then the last one from simply Tyler. I don't care for the new format and car. I'm like,
Not the car. You don't care for the car.
What's the new format? The playoff format, or what?
That's probably what they're thinking. But I've noticed that. I've actually noticed a lot of people you can tell don't watch it because they'll be like, I hate this new car they've had. It's ruined racing. And I'm like,
Have you
okay,
watched?
if they've watched it and think that, I'm sorry. I'm going to say this now and be blunt. You're not a real NASCAR fan if you've watched the last couple of weeks and thought it sucked. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're just there to complain and bitch and moan.
Whoa.
But anyway, I'm sorry. It has objectively been a really good season.
Yeah.
And if you're complaining about it, it's because you want to complain and you think that it died when Dale died. Sorry. I'm just like my sunburn. I'm heated.
That's where some of these
break-
people have come from. You know, like basically what they hadn't watched NASCAR since like
This is-
2006 or something.
See, I'm just realizing the way I'm saying this is probably why I got cussed out at Richmond last year.
Yeah.
Funny story.
Great
Anyway,
story. Great
Danny,
story.
like, oh yeah, I can believe it.
but that'll do it for this edition of the Iceberg Poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
Anyway.
All right. Let's talk about the Xfinity race, and there's only two notes here because there's not much more to talk about. Ty Gibbs got himself another Xfinity Series win.
What a shock!
Go.
So yeah, number 5 for this year. Is that what it was?
That's that's also a career high too. He had 4 wins last season.
So his 9th career win. Yeah. At this point, do you guys see him as pretty much him and Gregson being the 2 championship favorites for the Xfinity Series?
I won't rule out the veterans like Allgaier and Allmendinger just
Allmendinger
yet.
should be there.
Kaulig has been a disappointment year, so I really don't see any of them, even Hemrick, as being a legit contender at this point.
I feel like it's
I wouldn't rule out
Junior
Josh
Motorsports.
Berry either.
Yeah. Junior
Barry
Motorsports
just-
versus Ty Gibbs, I think.
It
That's
feels
what
like
it is.
Barry just he's not consistent enough, like even during the race. It's like he'll be back like way in the pack and then be in the top 5. And then like at Nashville, for instance, I think he finished like 26th or something, even though he was good all day. So it's like, I can't trust Josh Berry yet. He's just not.
That's fair. That's fair.
See, Jarrett, you do need to be careful how you talk about Josh Berry because his family lives here and they could easily find him now. So
Hey,
I'm not saying he's bad. I picked him for like half the races this year.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm just messing with you.
No, but at this point though, Junior Motorsports versus Ty Gibbs, in my opinion, whether it's like 2 Junior Motorsports cars or 3 of them, I feel like at least 2 Junior Motorsports cars will be in the Final 4. I think.
Don't count out AJ.
So
Yeah. That's what I was
He's
just
the
about to say.
only
Like,
colleague I have any faith
well,
in.
Eric, I was just about to tell you. I was like, look, I get, colleague, they haven't lived up to expectations this year, but AJ Allmendinger, hey, he steps up whenever he wants
Even
to.
but that's what I mean. Is like I think he's easily the front runner from that team. But even he, I think, has been held back a little bit. They just have, as a team, not been as good as.
Do you think that has to do mostly with them just being the first year in the Cup Series, adjusting to
maybe they're spread thin? I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't imagine Landon Castle's giving them more information than Jeb Burton. No disrespect to Jeb Burton, but I feel like Landon's got a pretty deep notebook and understanding. So, and Daniel Hemrick versus Justin Haley again. I don't think there's a huge disparity there. Like the lineup coming into this year, I was super excited about, and outside of Allmendinger here and there, they just have not really done a whole lot. And so I don't know. It's been a little disappointing.
Part of me thinks it's kind of the step into more fully Cup too. That
It could just be they're spread too thin. Yep, I don't know.
Hey, I know what will save them. Kyle Busch to Cully. There you go. There you go. Problem solved.
I mean,
instantly.
I'm not ruling it out, but it's not my most likely scenario.
Yeah, and we'll see.
But
Colleague to Kyle Busch.
But
Just reverse it.
We'll talk about Kyle a little bit later. But yeah, anything more to add?
I think we got it covered.
All right.
We spent so much time on the Cup race.
Yeah.
We spent like 3 minutes on the Xfinity race, so great job.
Sorry, Xfinity. We'll get you next time.
Good job, Ty Gibbs.
All right, so let's run through some super chats. Let me get it all.
I feel bad because Xfinity doesn't even race this weekend, so they're just like they're totally getting the afterthoughts. Unfortunately,
Well, we're going to our first super chat stage break. I can't say that to save my life.
This the official super stats.
The super
chat stage break on the
Super
NASCAR Weekly
chat
podcast.
super cool cats. I don't know.
Take it away, Did.
All right, someone get a timer for me. Who's doing a timer?
I don't have my phone.
Oh God, is anyone gonna get the timer? Someone get the timer.
Just go for a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, we got you. It just hit a new minute.
Antar Das, appreciate the $4.99. I'm happy for Harvick, especially the chat just going at him for the last 2 years. The race was fantastic. Hamlin got screwed again by his team. Yeah, I'm waiting for the cheater boy comments to come in here.
It's been a while.
Alex left, appreciate the $5. Come on, everybody, let's all laugh at the Kevin Harvick haters. Ha 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 ha.
That's the part where we put our heads back and laugh. Ready? Ready.
Why do I have
like a Skeletor laugh, Darian?
why do I have a feeling that a lot of the cheater boy Harvick people are also these people that are just now reversing the roles? I don't know. 54 Designs, appreciate the $4.99. I told y'all Ty would get a 12th or better finish, and Eric, he didn't spin, LOL. But guess what? He's going to do it again.
Yeah, I am surprised he went the whole weekend. I'm surprised he hasn't spun out yet in any race. And I know he wasn't pushing that hard at Pocono, but that's he didn't spin out at Indy, did he? He wasn't caught up in any of those big wrecks. I don't think.
I don't think so.
Did he might have gone off? Did he go off track once? I don't remember.
He got spun in the Xfinity race on Josh Berry's rampage of monsters.
Oh, that's
Maybe
right.
what I'm thinking of. I don't know.
That's right.
MA Fire 924, appreciate the $2, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a big no to your question here. Do you think there should be a fan vote playoff spot? No.
Nope. I don't know of a single sport that gets the fan vote.
You don't have to worry about it anyways because Chase Elliott always makes the playoffs. So.
That's a funny
You're
question.
wrong. McDowell will get him eventually.
Yeah, that's the funniest super chat I've heard.
Hot Piss, appreciate it, $4.99. Do you guys think they will change the format if Blaney finishes second in regular season points and misses the playoffs? We already talked about this.
No. Unfortunately, no.
MA Fire 924, appreciate again the $5. Maybe the 9 team knew they were going to be brought to R&D, so they brought a slow legal car and lucky to get 11, but Chase can win regular title this week. I don't think they've been bringing illegal cars.
They did go back to the R&D center anyways, but yeah, maybe they knew they were going to get sent.
Hey, they haven't been caught, so
Literally, I think Bob said that Chase has to just finish ahead of Blaney in like one of the last 3 races, and he'll win it.
Wow. Yeah. Nova Stone 12, appreciate the $2. Harvick got 1 win, and y'all act like he's the favorite now.
I didn't have a favorite.
Hey, I said he could be a dark. Hey, he could be a dark.
Oh, Jerry, you did say he's a legit. I think he's a legit favorite.
I didn't say favorite, but I think he's a contender.
I think he's a contender too. Hey, be on the lookout.
Back end.
Ross Crashtain, appreciate the $5. 15 years on, and Yaley is still wrecking the Interstate 18.
Yeah. You don't forget.
And I'm going to end on this one right here. Robbie Wood, appreciate the $5. Hey guys, just wanted to say thanks for helping me get back into NASCAR. I'm heading back to Richmond this weekend since nearly 10 years.
Whoa. Wow. No. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Robbie. So, his last one would have been, he said nearly 10 years, so not 2012, but like 2013, 2014. That's probably.
Well, have fun this weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to point out one thing before we go on. Denny Deliver said the Navy's just going to vote Jesse Iwuji in the playoffs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
if Navy has it their way, there'll be a fan vote to advance to the next round. Yeah. Jesse Iwuji has advanced to the next round. Jesse Iwuji is the champion.
Round. Oh my gosh.
For an average finish of 36. Congrats on your championship.
Like how reality shows would have you call in to vote off a character or whatever.
Yeah, like literally I was watching a random Bill Engvall comedy special on YouTube, and he was talking about his time when he was on Dancing with the Stars, and he went on about how he was literally the worst one in the competition, and his fans kept voting him on to the finals. Oh, man. But, hey, appreciate the super chats. We'll get back to those a little bit later. We are funded by viewers like you, but we are also funded by our friends at Lionel Racing, the official diecast providers of NASCAR. You can check out their full lineup of diecast on their website, lionelracing.com. You can pre-order your favorite 2022 diecast right now on their website, or you can order from an official Lionel Racing retailer. You can also check out their NASCAR Phoenix lines at Walmarts near you. Since we are going to Richmond, I've got the Alex Bowman 2021 Richmond win. Jarrett, what do you got right there?
I have a 2006 commemorative Dale Earnhardt car that's more lit up right now than Eric's room because it's silver. It has all of his awesome accomplishments on it, from being an ESPY Award winner, 2-time American Driver of the Year, 3-time winner of the All-Star race, most popular driver in 01, all this other stuff about him being in the International Motorsports Hall of Fame. It's an awesome car. My grandpa's had it. In the style, I think it's in the style of the 2006 Monte Carlo SS. But yeah, I always thought this was a really cool car, and I'm surprised that not as many people know about this one as a collector set. I'm looking and seeing there's another Dale Earnhardt car there.
Yes, this car's thick. This car's thick, y'all. Look how thick this car is.
It looks like the Intimidator was driving that thing.
Yep, I've had this car since I was like 6 years old. 1996 Dale Senior Wrangler car. I think this was like commemorating the team's like 20th something season or whatever. I don't know. It was commemorating something, I guess. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, it's definitely seen better days. But look how thick this car is, man. It's so thick. But yeah, no, I love it.
I just realized we've got I missed the fame here of Goodwrench cars apparently.
But yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, you at least kept with the Chevy theme. Yeah. I just went with the only Harvick diecast I own. This is obviously his throwback, or not throwback. This is his rookie season diecast, signed on the roof by Kevin Harvick. Pretty cool find. I've shown this one on the show before, but it's been a while. Figured I'd whip it back out for a special week.
Yeah, but that's some pretty cool diecast, guys. Now I'll give it the old NWP bumper cam here real quick. Okay. All right, and appreciate Lionel Racing again for your continued support of the show. Again, go check out lionelracing.com, pre-order your favorite diecast for 2022, and you can always get race wins of your favorite drivers. There's at least 15 drivers to choose from now, so go ahead and go check them out online today. And guys, it has been storming here literally all day, all week in Middle Tennessee, but it doesn't compare to the warning they just issued on my phone over here.
Yes, it doesn't at all. And it's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what do we have on tap for tonight?
Well, we talked about it earlier. Ty Gibbs is once again in the 45 car this week as Kurt Busch continues to try and recover from the Pocono crash that he had. Best of luck to Kurt. I know how hard it is to recover.
Take your
from
time.
concussions.
Take your time, bro.
Sargento Cheese Company is sponsoring Josh Bilicki and Alpha Prime Racing at the Glen after, unfortunately being seen on the front of the car at Road America. I gotta say, sitting in that corner, that was hilarious to watch.
That's a cool story that incident led to a sponsorship.
We'll talk about this one a little bit, but just to let everybody know, Noah Gragson has signed to drive the 42 Petty GMS car for next season. Some more news from Colleague. They're having Justin Haley back in the Xfinity Series for a race at Daytona. Let's be real, he's probably the favorite.
That went under the radar because I did not know about that until today, and they announced that 2 days ago.
He's in the 14.
Sam Mayer will be driving for JRM in the one car in 2023.
Good.
Two-time 24-hour Le Mans winner Mike Rockenfeller will be driving the Spire 77 at the Glen and the Roval, according to Bob. I wanted to list this off just to be a bit of an update for people to keep track of. Some updates on the street course race for Chicago. According to some new documents that were put out in the local media, NASCAR will pay Chicago $500,000 in 2023, $550,000 in 24, and $625,000. They're expecting the event to draw over 100,000 spectators. Grant Park actually will be staged for 21 days prior to the event and 10 days after, instead of the previous window of 2 weeks. And local aldermen have been expressing further displeasure with this plan. And
that's like a month. Dang.
Yeah. Wow.
And there's also a bit of an opening in the contract that if it is a success in the first 2 years, they can extend it into 26 and 27. So keep an eye on that. Some good news from a bad situation. Kyle Busch and his family were at Mall of America during the shooting last week, but luckily all of them are okay. I think they talked about it in the pre-race show for this week. And
he was actually pretty open about it with the media this weekend, too. I saw from Noah Lewis's videos.
Yeah. And then one last reminder for everybody. Next Wednesday, August 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time is episode 200 of the podcast on Eric's channel. And then Tuesday, August 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on IDK Players channel is the second annual NWP 400. This year at Daytona 400-miler race with the next-gen cars on iRacing.
Catch me in the 91 NWP Chevy, of course. I'll be in that.
Lots of cool stuff for the podcast in the coming weeks and through the rest of the season. You don't want to miss any of it. So be sure to watch. And that pretty much covers it. I think the storm's over.
And that'll do it for this edition of the Lightning Round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now, back to the show.
And we have to thank our second sponsor before we get to the remaining topics, Forney Industries. Get it done with green. Forney offers a full line of welding and plasma cutting machines, metalworking accessories, and more. It's great for do-it-yourselfers all the way up to professional metalworkers. Forney has everything you need for your next project. So be sure to shop all of Forney's top-of-the-line products online at forneyInd.com. That's Forney, I-N-D. I believe the link is in the description as always, or check them out at an authorized Forney dealer near you. And logo kind of blends into Darian's shirt right there, but you're looking for that in a whiter green. You're looking for that smooth Forney logo. Appreciate them sponsoring the show.
I ended up dragging Eric back over because I couldn't see it right there.
I was behind. Yeah,
I think you had it now.
Nice.
That's right. While you're at it, lick that like button. We've been sitting around 500 all night. It's been awesome seeing the support, but only 139 likes. Lick that like button.
Lick it.
Lick it.
Make sure you sanitize it first.
All right. What's our next topic?
I guess the next topic is, we mentioned the Lightning Round, but let's talk about it just for a little bit. Petty GMS has finally announced that Noah Gragson would be taken over to 42. It's one of those things that most of the people within the media pretty much said as soon as they announced Ty Dillon was going that, Gragson seemed like the obvious choice to go to that car.
But wait, I thought Kyle Busch was the favorite to get that ride. What? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, Gragson, congratulations.
It is a former KBM driver.
Oh, yeah, true. So, yeah, but hey, Noah Gragson, this has been a long time coming. He spent, 2 seasons in trucks and now, his 3rd and 4th year? Or how many?
Four. He's been there since 2019.
Oh, I was talking about he spent 2 seasons in trucks, I thought. Truck series.
Yes, 2017 and 2018, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
4
and then-
seasons in the
and-
Xfinity
Yep,
Series.
4 seasons in the Xfinity Series. Wow. So hey, about time finally got a deal done. So, and honestly, I can't think of a better team to go to in his situation. I mean, they're a team on the up and up right now. Eric Jones, currently 14th in the consistent point standings, and Jared told me earlier that if you add in those 35 points that was taken away earlier in the season, then he'd be 11th. So Eric Jones has proven that he can get the best out of that team too. But I feel it's not just him, and that team, they're doing their part as well. They currently have a driver in the 42 by the name of Ty Dillon, who, let's just say, has been underwhelming compared to his teammate. As far as expectations are concerned, in my opinion, Gregson, just get all the laps he can, of course, and maybe he could flirt with a playoff spot potentially, depending on how well he runs or whatever. I mean, like, the only way I could see him making the playoffs would be next year would be by winning one of the super speedways. I don't know, like,
Or Michigan at this rate.
yeah, or Michigan too.
Miami.
Yeah, Michigan. I mean, like, it's just with this next gen car, you never know. You never know how some of these newer prospects are going to adapt. He could either flourish or he could either get a bunch of DNFs like he has this season. But again,
all things considered for Ty Dillon, I will only defend this in saying his average finish this season is actually about the same as it always has been, even in the other rides he's had. So he's not done any worse. But he's not done better. And what I would say, arguably, is his best ride he's had.
Yeah, so he's just running about where he is. That's just who Ty Dillon is, I guess, in the Cup Series.
Which, I mean, all things considered, his average finish is 22.1 in his entire career, which there's a lot of drivers who have a way worse average than that.
Yeah.
So, not saying Ty Dillon is not a bad driver. He's not I don't know.
He's not bad, but he's not very good.
He's not good
either.
enough to elevate his equipment.
Yes.
If you ask me about the Dillon brothers, it's obvious who was the better one there. So,
What's interesting, and you made this point, Darian, that you couldn't think of a better situation. I don't know. I'm a little surprised he's not hanging out in Xfinity for another year. Not because he's not ready to start cutting his chops in the Cup Series, but because I'm not convinced Petty GMS is really the best option for him. Because Eric Jones is 14th in points. He's been very good, but Eric Jones has been in the Cup Series for like 5 or 6 years now. He's won the Southern 500. Ty Dillon's 30th in points, and they confirmed today that Dave Ellens, however you say his last name, who used to be Gregson's Xfinity crew chief, they're going to keep him with Jones. So that tells me Gregson, as of right now, is going to get Ty Dillon's team. And unless they make some major personnel moves, that's not a good team right now. That team, GMS is new to the Cup Series. The 42 is new to that shop. I think they're spread too thin. They don't have the right people working that car. And if you watched the press conference today, Noah Gragson cut his hair, clean shaven on the back, nice polo shirt, spoke to the media as eloquently as I've ever heard him spoke to the media. Jordan Bianchi pointed out that he was talking to Richard Petty and a lot of yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. When Noah Gragson left Kyle Busch Motorsports and went to Junior Motorsports, he explained the difference between the two. KBM, a little more intense. Busch expected results was more prevalent. He was there. He was a great resource on one hand, but he also was more demanding. He said Junior Motorsports to him was a little more laid back, and that to him fit his personality better, was a more welcoming and comfortable atmosphere. Not that Petty GMS is going to expect him to go out and win races right away, but I feel like it's more of an uptight situation than the more comfortable situation he's had at JRM the last few years. And like, I read this quote from racer.com that GMS president Mike Beam said today. He said, quote, "We don't have time. We've got to go. And that's the honest to God's truth. We're not going to mess around here. Maury Gallagher will tell you we're not going to mess around. We're committed to this, what it costs to do this." So they expect results from Gregson right away. And he's not ready to get them results in the Cup Series. So I'm a little surprised, yes, that he didn't hang out with Junior Motorsports for another year, maybe wait and see if that RCR seat could be an option. Remember, he tweeted a little smiley face when Reddick announced he was leaving. I'm a little surprised he rushed into this 42 car.
This is only, a 1-year deal? That's not to say that he
I think it's a multi-year deal. It's a multi-year deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's multi-year.
I was going to say, if it's only a 1-year deal, it's not to say he wouldn't be an option for the 8, but no, he's not.
But I mean,
So
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Jared.
I'd said a few weeks ago I wanted him to stay with JRM personally because I thought that was a better option. You know, he's showing in Cup with what he did at Michigan that he has the ability to be a pretty competitive Cup driver when in the right position. He's shown in Xfinity that he can deliver. My thinking was wait till free agency next year when there's a lot more teams open. Wait, for the right opportunity to come, because we've seen so many times these drivers who have an awesome setup in Xfinity, who are set to win and show off their talents to the best ability, jump to the quickest Cup ride, which to his credit, 4 years in Xfinity is not done.
Fair enough.
But it does feel like it's like the option opened and he went straight there. Now, of course, and we can talk about this later with other stories, there's always the ability. I mean, isn't Colleague connected with RCR when it comes to like engine affiliates and stuff like that?
Are they? I thought they might be a Hendrick. Are they Hendrick?
I thought
or
I thought they had RCR engines.
I think Trackhouse is Hendrick and
That's
Colin
what
is RCR.
Oh, actually, I don't know. One or the other. You're right. I don't know.
Those Chevy teams work so well together, though, that it's like
they do. All the engine research is
to
going
the
into
8.
one. So
yeah, he could be the option sent to the 8, and then another one for the 42, similar to what Richard Childress did with the Germain ride with Ty Dillon. So I don't think it's like an end of the world thing. I think, like we talked about, Eric Jones has shown that this team has the ability, the overall, ECR, RCR. So there is the option that maybe if he needs to be the 8, he gets dragged to the 8 and they just throw somebody else in the 42 or something like that. Maybe somebody buys out a charter. I don't know. But
hey, I was gonna say for Petty GMS, if they decide to just go to one car again, that's a valuable asset to have right now as a charter. So
how much they're worth? Oh, absolutely.
I don't think this is the right move for him. I think he'll be better than Ty Dillon personally.
I do too.
Yeah,
but maybe not right at first, because earlier we did say he has 5 DNFs this year in college. At first might be a little difficult, but I think by middle of next year he'll be better than.
I mean, to be fair, Ty Dillon has 5 DNFs so far this year.
That's a good point.
In more races.
Ty Dillon has 1 top 10. I'm gonna go out on a ballpark and say 5 top 10s is doable for Gregson.
The big thing I think is who do they get to surround Gregson? If it's not David Allens, they got to get somebody better than who they have right now. It's got to be a better group, because that's what Mike Beam said today as well during the press conference. It's not a budget issue. They have the funding, I think, to be remotely competitive, but he was kind of blunt, like we need the right people. And Gregson, I think, at least in the long run, maybe not the immediate short term, but in the long run, he's an upgrade over Ty Dillon. But they need more than that. And who else can they get between now and February? That's going to make the difference.
I think he's going to complement Eric Jones really well too, especially on the super speedways, because
they're both former KBM drivers.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Interesting. So not exactly same time, but
so they've been through the struggle together. Let's just put it that way, I guess, of being a former Toyota driver. But yeah, I think he's going to complement Eric Jones really well. I feel like Petty GMS is one of the teams on the up and up. Now it'll just depend on who they surround around Noah Gregson, but I feel like this is a good starter ride in the Cup Series for Gregson. Get a ride in the Cup Series, yes, you have some expectations, to run well and stuff, but is the fan base going to expect you to set the world on fire? I personally don't think so. And yeah, he's apparently going to be there for multiple years too. So.
If he finishes 20th in consistent full season points of
I'll be impressed.
That's impressive. That'd be impressive. Yeah.
That should be like, I think, the ceiling of expectations. I think 25th in points is probably the expectation. Better than this year, not as good as Eric Jones.
So
I agree.
On the other side of this conversation, I just want to ask you guys, who do you think JRM puts in the 9 car?
I know who Jared's going to say.
Hey, Jared, you go first.
Carson Hocevar.
Yeah, I was about to say Carson Hocevar.
As soon as the tweet came out, Carson Hocevar tweeted out a GIF of a chess piece moving, and I was just like,
and before some people criticize, us picking him, let me just explain this. Carson Hocevar consistently outperforms that equipment. I don't think that equipment really has any business competing for victories, to be honest with you. Like
they have to be giving him something better than what Lawless Allen and Chris Wright and
well,
them have had.
No, it's called talent. It's called talent.
I know, but like they're running 25th and he's running 4th. There's no way Hocevar is that much better than him.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He is that much of a better driver.
If he is, then he better go to that JRM number 9.
That's what I'm saying. So look, like I get some people criticizing, well, he hasn't won anything in the truck series. I'm like, look, have you seen the way some of these guys race in the truck series? I mean, like, doesn't really look if he's talented enough
he's
to
the
move
one
up,
who does it sometimes.
Yeah, he does it sometimes too. He does it
I
sometimes
love Hocevar, but he's had some
true.
lowlights the last couple months.
Oh yeah, that's right. At IRP, right hook. Yeah,
right hook the guy.
Yeah,
he spun out Priest at I don't remember Charlotte, I think it was. And so don't do that.
He still has a lot to learn, but hey, why not start now, man? Get in the junior motorsports ride, like now as far as funding is concerned, like can he get enough funding to secure that ride, or is there already going to be something set up?
Well, I kind of don't see any of the sponsors of the 9 really leaving per se.
Okay, well then,
do they match? I don't know enough. We've met Carson before. I don't know him well enough to know to say if do you think he's the right match for Bass Pro Shops?
If he has questions,
Black Rifle, yes.
Okay. If he wants, if he needs help out fishing, just tell him to DM me. I'll tell.
He doesn't. I don't know him well enough. Is he like a big outdoors guy? Not that Gregson necessarily is, but he plays the role well enough.
I don't know about Bass Pro Shops, but I just know because from everything I've seen of Black Rifle Coffee is that they seem to play into the meme side of social media pretty well.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Is a perfect fit in that regard.
That's a good point. Yeah. No, never mind. You're right.
I'm just wondering, what are some of the other options though? Because it seems like a lot of them sort of have. I don't know. It's like there's not too many options if you start looking at it in the Chevy tree right now that would be like scream. That's the guy.
Yeah. Outside the Chevy tree, I saw somebody mention this guy, and he's driven for Junior Motorsports on a part-time basis before. Zane Smith, maybe?
He said he's staying in the Ford tree.
Oh, there you go. I
think he's committed to Ford.
If it wasn't for that, originally I thought, would he come back to JRM? But no, I think
I don't know what his contract looks like, but I bet he's flexible. John Hunter Nemechek, I think he's a little miffed that they put Ty Gibbs in that 45 when it was supposed to be his ride. Like he was supposed to be the substitute driver coming into this year, and they said, nope, we'll put Ty.
Sorry. Look, Ty Gibbs is just that good. Sorry.
And
I don't want to say that. I don't think they made the wrong call. I'm just saying I think Nemechek is looking for a ride outside of Toyota now. He's looking for SHR Cup. He's looking for anything.
I think Ty Dillon goes to the 48 with Big Machine.
Yeah, I see that.
Because I know that he's wanted to kind of pave his own way with it, and if that is an option, he hasn't been bad in his starts in Xfinity. He's just had bad luck.
Jordan Anderson, I know, is trying to run 2 Xfinity cars. He just tried to qualify a second car this past week, but I think he's looking to do that more often. And he's got an RCR tie.
Yeah. I think Ty Dillon is a halfway decent Xfinity driver. What?
Chase Elliott 501st. He put Black Rifle Coffee Company is going with Gregson for sure, and they were a sponsor of Ty Dillon this year.
And that's why I think it made the most sense for him to go to that because he already has that sponsorship there.
Yeah,
but Ty Dillon could go to that 9 car with the same sponsorship he had in Cup, too.
But also, Bass Pro stepped up for him in his JGR run and Gaunt Brothers run. That's another thing. They could go with him wherever he goes to. So.
Mm-hmm. So it might just be a trade, because Ty Dillon has not been bad per se in his runs. He's not inspired by any means in the Xfinity series either, but you could have much worse Xfinity drivers there.
Yeah, he has 1 career Xfinity win at Indy.
Going back to that John Hunter Nemechek thing, his longest time truck number was the number 8 that his dad had him in. What if we saw Barry move over to the 9 and him getting the 8 for JRM?
That'd be cool.
There's an idea.
That'd be cool. I mean, it's also fitting for him because, his late uncle had passed away in the 8 truck and stuff, and they would always run the 8 as a tribute and stuff. And for him to get the 8 in Xfinity for Junior Motorsports, that would be pretty cool. Pretty feel good story.
It's just a wild idea at this point. But we have seen JRM drivers change numbers for weird reasons. We saw it go from the 5 to the 1.
Remember, Gregson was he was originally supposed to drive the 1.
The 1, yes.
Remember? Yeah. So we've seen it before. But Eric, who do you think?
Outside, I'm saying Nemechek is probably the one I would look at outside, but just because I feel like he's shopping around. Not that it makes the most sense. I just think he's available.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's enough speculation on that. Let's talk about some Kyle Busch scenarios next.
Rick Ware Racing. Let's go. Yep. Kyle Busch to Rick Ware Racing, y'all.
I feel like he could at least get some top tens in that.
But hey, that's how good he is, man. But no, in all seriousness, though, oh, bless your heart, Danny. Damn.
Well,
But
thankfully I could get the mute button on OBS in time. But
yeah. But Kyle Busch options. I mean, where do we begin? We're hearing like a bunch of teams.
Well,
at this
okay.
point.
Well, so the latest speculation, and this is all these rumors only come from Door Bumper Clear, which I think those guys obviously know what they're talking about, but they also they're there to entertain. They're saying that Chevy's entered the conversation. Many are speculating that's Colleague. Could be RCR, could be a track house. You never know.
yeah,
Him at Trackhouse. Ooh.
They say one Ford team is talking to him. Everyone's assuming that's SHR.
Hey,
Could
don't
be
let
someone else.
no, don't let Kyle Busch. Hey, NASCAR better veto that move. Don't let Kyle Busch in Trackhouse, bro, because he's just gonna tear the field up, man. At that point, go full 2011
Wouldn't he in JGR
NBA.
though?
And then the last point they made was that they believe that JGR has essentially stopped talking to Kyle Busch. That could mean one of two things. That could mean a deal is there and Busch just has to decide if he wants to take it. He's shopping around to see if there's something better, or that means that they tried and at this point Busch isn't willing to make any more concessions. Gibbs isn't willing to take that loss because they know they have Ty in the wings that they could sign. So it sounds less and less likely. It's only gone like this in terms of the likelihood he goes to Joe Gibbs Racing next year. It's probably at an all-time low right now.
Yeah, they got Ty Gibbs. They don't need him.
Until JGR just straight up says that he's coming back, I've already pretty much told myself he's not coming back to the 18 car. But then again, I shouldn't believe it even if they say it, because based on F1 and IndyCar, I shouldn't believe that. So.
Hey, we need to wait till what we hear from McLaren. Anyway,
on that note, though, Danny, at the same time, I'm not. Kyle Busch said as recently as like 10 days ago that the number one goal is still to get a deal done with Toyota and Gibbs, and he said nothing again to deter that. So
it's been how long?
I'm not saying it's likely, but that's what I mean. I doubt he's ripped up the contract and told them no. I feel like that still is an option, even though it's not a good one.
Just don't go full AJ Brown and say it wasn't me. It was Joe Gibbs.
No.
So I'm gonna keep pouring gasoline on, and I have no inside knowledge on any of this whatsoever, but I'm going to keep pouring gasoline on my theory from last week about Hendrick. So we had talked about, yes, we know
Danny, you weren't here to defend your boy. This guy.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, bring me up to speed. What did you say about them?
My theory is that Hendrick Motorsports would try and go after Kyle Busch, at least somewhat. It's a complete different situation between him and Rick Hendrick than 15 years ago.
And also Jeff Gordon's a big factor in that now.
Jeff Gordon there's been the downturn in performance with the 48 team. I know that there is with William Byron, but it seems like he has a vested interest in William Byron staying with Hendrick in the long term compared to an Alex Bowman. And if Ally allows, I could see possibly them buying out the contract for Alex Bowman's 2023 season and offering Kyle Busch, because Kyle Busch wants to go to a place he can win right away, not an upstart like a Trackhouse or a Colleague, which in my opinion, if he wants to go somewhere he can perform better, the only option would be Hendrick Motorsports, or if he thinks he can do it at SHR, which I think is a leading option. Now, I was looking back through some other stuff, and I had completely forgot this. I don't know why I didn't say it last week, but Hendrick Motorsports has a history of buying out contracts in their final season, most recently with Casey Kane, who was supposed to drive with Hendrick Motorsports in 2018. And instead, they bought out that contract.
And then he went to the best Chevy option, which was Levine Family Racing.
No.
So Bowman to the 16?
Maybe. I'm just I don't know what this leads for Bowman, but what I'm saying is that if Ally allows it, and if Hendrick is as ambitious as he's always been, Jeff Gordon along with that people shouldn't discount Hendrick Motorsports. Hendrick Motorsports in the past, for instance with Dale Jr., was out of the running until 2 or 3 weeks before they announced it. Said there was no room at the inn, made room.
Yeah, I go ahead, sorry, finish your point.
I don't know. I still think SHR is the leading candidate, and I don't think they would do necessarily right away do this. but they didn't specify on the Chevy team. And Colleague and Trackhouse don't fit what Busch has said he's looking for. And if they're not going to specify on the Chevy team, I don't see him going with RCR. I keep having that nagging, gnawing option of Hendrick being right there. And it's not the leading option, but I think it's one that people are overlooking until
you think it's the leading Chevy option?
Yeah, I would say so. Over Colleague, yes.
No, so okay, the thing that blows the whole thing up, Ally's not going to do it. They will not. Kyle Busch just Ally. Not to get political here, but Ally's brand image does not quite line up with Kyle Busch, who was recently in sensitivity training.
And M&M's does. And M&M's leaving this year, but they've been there for almost 15 years.
Yeah, but that
they
was
were
such
like
a close family
this,
connection.
They were like this close to leaving in 2011.
I don't think Ally loves Kyle Busch, or I'm sorry, Ally loves Alex.
Okay, come on in.
You get it.
Ally loves Alex Bowman for now. I think if the results don't get better, they'll leave him after next year. But I do not see Ally bailing on Bowman, who they've consistently called their guy, their boy, all this stuff for Kyle Busch. I don't think that happens. I'm not. Hendrick would love to have Kyle Busch. I agree with you. I think they've probably patched things up to the point they could work together professionally again. But I don't think that sponsor, that's their biggest sponsor, would go for it.
The biggest thing, and this is not me being a Bowman fan, but my big thing is that do they want to go bring in Kyle Busch, who might not have, as many more great years down the run, and risk getting rid of a guy that could still reach his prime as he gets a little older?
But what is Bowman's like? What is his like peak though? You know what I mean? Like, is Alex Bowman's potential peak worth?
That's the thing. You don't know, and I know that I'm sure Hendrick often thinks about what they missed out by losing Busch, by losing Keselowski at young ages, and I'm scared. Not scared. I don't think that they're quite ready to go that route and risk. Not saying it would happen, but what if Bowman goes to Colleague and starts winning 10 races for them? Right. It's not going to happen, but what if it did?
I mean, people said the same thing about Kyle Busch leaving for Joe Gibbs, and
they thought it was a mistake. He'll never rebound and stuff, and look what happened.
I'm just saying it's an option that people shouldn't discount until we finally hear like a final verdict on what's going on.
And I'm not going to say it's impossible. I'm saying there's no way that is the Chevy team. I will be shocked if that's the leading Chevy team that they're referencing. I don't see that happening.
And then this season is shocked in more ways than this would. I mean, I've learned at this point, expect everything.
And no disrespect, Danny, but I'll be happy to be proved wrong because I want to see Kyle Busch in the best equipment. And Alex Bowman, assuming he can still land a ride with a colleague or somebody else and still be remotely competitive, I think that's great. But I don't want to see Kyle Busch, in an upstart, driving an upstart colleague car next year, because he's still at the very top of his game. Bowman's still, I think, coming into his own a little bit. So I'll be happy to be proved wrong, but I just don't see them Hendrick would have to eat the Bowman contract cost, which granted probably isn't that much. I doubt he's getting paid a ton. And they'd have to get Ally. And probably less than Casey Kane was. But they'd also have to swing Ally over. And I just don't. That's the thing I just think too hard of a
Hendrick's worked magic before.
They've
worked magic with free agency before.
There's some Expelliarmus over here. This is
Expecto Patronum type.
I will not be surprised if this happens, because it's something that anyone could easily see this happening, but I don't think it will happen. But I've been telling myself for a little bit, I feel like if it doesn't happen, if the buyout situation doesn't happen, I kind of feel like next year is Bowman's last chance in Hendrick equipment.
Yeah, I mean,
ask me again in 6-8 months. Kyle Busch, if he takes a year off and goes on a Larson tour, which I actually would think is probably more likely than him signing with Hendrick this year.
He could do that.
If he does that, I think he would be a favorite to land the 48 in 2024. If Busch does not have if Busch is a free agent at the end of the 2023 season and it's, whatever, this is the sample size what we have now, I'd consider him one of the favorites. Probably not with Ally sponsorship, but
I've also said do it before he gets really old, but I want Kyle Busch to go run a full year in trucks and go win a championship there.
Yeah, you can do that. There you go.
So
Yeah,
I'll
there
ask
you
with
go.
the Ally part of it, though. Could you see Ally moving to a different team other than Bowman, having the same contract, same amount of races,
See, that
moving to a different team like
I don't
Kyle Larson?
I don't know because there's no long history with them. They came in for Jimmy Johnson and he left a little sooner than they thought.
They were GMAC beforehand.
They
Oh
just
yeah,
strike,
so there are some history. Yeah.
they
okay,
strike me as a
well.
brand who wants to go with a very safe, a very kind
William
of
Byron.
family. Byron's the only one that maybe makes sense.
He's
but
he's
I
got
don't know.
funding. They don't need to be a fan.
Yeah, but between Exalta and Liberty, he may not have an opening.
and
Well,
also
you don't know what
Byron
happened to
just.
Liberty.
Well,
but
also-
do you expect Ally to fill a gap left by Liberty? That's kind of I don't know. I just feel like that's
I
a
get they
little
don't
interesting.
connect that as much with William Byron as they do
Yeah.
with the sponsor Liberty
Yeah.
itself. You have that and fill in some of the Chase Elliott Open races, for instance. I'm
They
just
can
saying,
piece it around. I don't know.
I can see if there's anyone who can work the magic to get Kyle Busch in a competitive ride more competitive than that of the 18 car, it's Hendrick Motorsports, Rick Hendrick, Jeff Gordon. Like that's a
But-
super team that just continues to get better and build on itself.
Okay, all right. We'll,
And
we'll
for
see.
those,
The-
and for some saying that, hey, what about William Byron? He just signed a contract extension. He's not
But
going anywhere.
The thing is, though, the team that needs Kyle Busch more than he necessarily needs them is SHR because Hendrick is still winning
Yes.
races with all four cars, no matter who's in there right now.
And hell, Harvick basically was begging, like, "Oh, hey, come over here.
This
man.
was
You
a
can help me."
clutch win for more than just the playoff implications for Harvick because it proved that SHR can
So
win.
Yeah,
for,
they can still do
for
it.
that reason, I think SHR is willing to pay more than Hendrick right now.
They are definitely, I'd say, the lead candidate of anyone.
But hey, a scenario where Hendrick Motorsports gets Kyle Busch, that would be interesting.
Kyle
Very
Busch to
interesting.
join Nirvana, to join American Idol. What are these? What is going on in the chat?
Yeah, I saw someone say Kyle Busch was going to be their gym teacher.
Kyle
Hey, he's
Busch
gonna
to
be-
NR Thunder.
Kyle Busch is a teacher. Oh no.
Hey,
A gym teacher.
Oddly enough, I could see Kyle Busch being a gym teacher.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Richmond, guys. We
Yeah.
have
Richmond.
two races this weekend, not the Xfinity Series. The Truck Series and the Cup Series are racing this weekend. The Truck race will be the Worldwide Express 250. That is, of course, a 250-lap race. Start time for this is at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be on Saturday with coverage on FS1 and MRN. The weather for that day is looking great. High of only 80 degrees. That is a very comfortable temperature, especially for this time of year. Usually it's hot as blazes in August, so I will take that. 0% chance of rain. The defending winner of this race is John Hunter Nemechek. The Cup Series race will be the Federated Auto Parts 400. That is, of course, a 400-lap race. Start time of 3 p.m. Eastern Time on USA and MRN. Sunday's high is 85 degrees. Mostly sunny skies have only an 18% chance of rain, so it looks like that race should be good, too. The defending winner of that one is Martin Truex Jr. Darian, tell us who the favorites for this weekend are.
What is
First,
Eric doing?
wait, I was about to say, first of all, Eric's a clown. Anyway, no.
Y'all didn't see me catch the first one?
I saw it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the screen over here talking, so...
The betting odds on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. The favorites, Martin Truex Jr. plus 600, as well as Denny Hamlin as well. Kyle Busch plus 700, which is very odd considering the fact that in the past 8 races, he has yet to score a top 10. So interesting. So yeah, if you want to take the risk, go for it. And then finally, rounding out the top 5 at plus 900 is Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott. As for the best of the rest, Kyle Larson is plus 1,000. Ross Chastain and Ryan Blaney both plus 1,200, and Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano plus 1,500. As for the underdogs, Bubba Wallace plus 2,000. Alex Bowman plus 3,000, Eric Jones plus 5,000, Brad Keselowski plus 10,000. And finally, shout out to Jarrett because Michael McDowell is plus 25,000. So
For
yeah,
good
that'll-
reason.
yeah.
Good reason.
So that'll do it for the betting odds. But really quick, let's go over the top 5 in points for the NASCAR Weekly Podcast Fantasy League. Trevor Sports 98 currently in P1. He's pulling away a tad. He is currently nearly 100 points over Toyota Tough in second. And third is 48 Nation. Fourth is Recky Spenhouse. And finally, rounding out the top 5 is Jets 48.
All right, and with that being said, let's talk about the pick points. Now, I wasn't here last week, so I don't know where I was coming into this past weekend, but now Eric is 417 points in the lead.
Ahead. Oh.
What?
I thought I had a 417 point
400
lead. Go
ahead.
on, sorry.
Okay. You have a 417 point total. Your lead over to chat is only 14. They are relatively not that far behind you, considering that they picked Eric Almirola for Road America a few weeks back.
No, IDK picked Almirola.
Okay.
That was the chat. We put up a poll and everything.
Over 100 people voted for that, so I mean,
Yeah.
Darian is third, minus 62, but I am not getting far from Darian. Third is up for grabs at this point. I'm in fourth, 85 back, and Jarrett is in fifth in the basement, 94 back.
Not triple-digit points behind, though.
Yeah, and at one point I think me and Jarrett both were over 100, so we're all coming back a little bit. So with that being said, let's get into the picks. First of all, Eric, who do you think is going to win the Truck Series race?
Chandler Smith. I'll just go short track. Go with, even though he recently won at Pocono, which is not a short track whatsoever. But I'll go Chandler.
He just had kids, so he's winning all the way.
Yeah. Congrats to him. Hey, short track. All he has to do is just don't throw another hook, Carson Hocevar. Don't hook anybody else, please. Please don't.
And I'm going to go with the defending winner of this one, John Hunter Nemechek.
I'm going to go with the guy who did pretty darn well at IRP, a very similar type racetrack to this when it comes to how you race it. He also led the most laps in 2020 at this track. I'm going to go Grant Enfinger.
In the chat, it looks like a lot of Zane Smiths. I think it's Smith, it looks like, but could be wrong.
Between Zane Smith and John Hunter Nemechek, we'd probably do a poll with that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get a little poll ready for that.
Zane Smith and Nemechek.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So while he gets that poll up, I guess we can start off with the cup picks. Eric, who is going to suck this weekend?
I'm not going to pick Kyle Busch. I think he'll get a top 10. Toyota's just too good at Richmond. He would have to have something dramatic go wrong, which did, I guess, at this past weekend at Michigan. So anything's possible. I'll go with Joey Logano.
Well, you're not going to pick Busch, but I will. Kyle Busch is going to continue to suck 9 straight races without a top 10.
Let's see. I'm trying. I'm just gonna say. I think Byron. He's had a continuously bad year this season since those first few good races in the spring, but it's just consistently gotten worse, and I think he'll not have a good weekend.
This dude's consistently finished sub 25th and sub 30th, no matter how good his cars are. I'm going Michael McDowell with this one.
Of course, I was trying to look this up before I said it. Byron was the best finishing Hendrick car earlier this season, but I still think he has gotten a lot worse since then.
And then the chats. I see a bunch of numbers.
I see a lot of Brad.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski. That's right. Keselowski. Might as well give him that.
Yeah, that's what's. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of Brads. So we're gonna give him that one.
Give him Brad.
Okay. Underdogs.
Ty Gibbs. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Top 10. Now he's looking at a top 5.
That's an easy one. I was going to pick Gibbs as well.
Yeah, this is definitely a track I could see Ty Gibbs doing well at. He's my underdog.
Clean sweep across the board. I was going Ty Gibbs too. What we got the chat? By the way, Zane Smith looks to be the chat's pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we will.
By far.
We will do that. Thank you for answering me right now.
Poll.
Oh.
What do we got for the chat's underdog? I'm seeing a good amount of 45s.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
someone who's either out of the loop or joking with the Kurt Busch, so still 45.
Yeah.
I think we're going clean sweep Ty Gibbs.
Yeah.
GG Racing.
Wow. First time. Is this the first time we've had a sleeper pick have a queen sleep like this?
It's a kid in his 4th start. God.
Hey, that's how good he is, man.
Good thing the points for this don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And now to the main event. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win at Richmond, Eric?
Toyota's typically good here. So I'm going to pick a Toyota driver. Coming into the weekend, the storyline is going to be Ryan Blaney versus Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr. led laps here in the spring, wasn't on the winning strategy. I think he finished 4th, if I'm not mistaken, is what he was credited with. I may be wrong, somewhere in the top 5. But I think Martin Truex Jr. is going to come through and win at Richmond this weekend and bump Blaney out of the playoffs and put a lot of pressure on Kurt Busch over the next couple of weeks.
Look, 15 different winners. I said last week, hey, we're gonna get 15 different winners. Right about that. Now, do we get 16? I think so. Now, who is going to be that 16th different winner? I mean, second in the points, it's got to be Ryan Blaney, right? Like, he's got to win eventually, right? I mean, he won the pole for Richmond, and apparently he wasn't that good at Richmond prior to this year, but then all of a sudden, new car, that changes everything. So, hey, him and Truex Jr., they're going to be battling for that final playoff spot, it looks like. So, hey, why not just put it to rest and just get a win and lock yourself in already? So, Ryan Blaney.
If I gained any points on Eric, it's because I got the Truck Series pick right. I'm going with Martin Truex Jr. on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. Truex. I was at this race last year. Truex is pretty damn good.
And so, with that being said, that'll make it very interesting for Blaney and basically put him in a hey, you're good at Daytona, you better go win that one.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be interesting for the chat because as soon as we started saying Truex, it went from all 19s to now 19s and 11s. So
let's do it. Let's do a poll.
Yeah, do a poll. Yeah, poll. So
I just love that I love that we all picked Blaney and Truex though. Like that's where the spotlight is on this weekend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as far as the poll is concerned, who you want to put in there? Hamlin, Truex.
Yeah, those are the two showing
just
up.
those two.
All right. Cool.
I have a feeling they're going to pick Hamlin just to be different than Eric.
Yeah, so they can try and gain on him. So yeah, that's why.
And then we go to our final super chat stage break. I did it right this time.
Yep, the
Beautiful,
super chat
lovely
stage break.
improvement.
So I guess this is coming to the finish for the super chats. Let's see. We ended off with Robbie Wood. He informed us that he was happy that we helped him get back in NASCAR, so we appreciate that, Robbie. Jupiter Rain coming in at $2. Gibbs won first Xfinity race, but not in Cup. Next, Gordon.
Only time will tell, but he's looking really good now.
He's going to be really good. That's all we can tell.
Yeah, I don't like putting those comparisons up on young drivers.
Yeah.
Quick Boomerang comes in at $5. Appreciate that. Imagine if social media was around for the 1992 Hooters 500.
Oh, it would have been beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. We would have had some pretty cool content to make after that one. That's for sure. Napa Racing Fan 927. Appreciate the $2 there. Will JRM ever make it to Cup? If so, when?
They gotta pay. You gotta pay us some moolah to get there.
Yeah, I mean, they got the moolah, but do they want to spend it?
Do they have enough? At 20, they have 20 million of moolah.
Yeah. Wait till Chargers depreciate.
Andrew Meyer, appreciate that $5. Daniel Suarez has had top 10 speed every week since Kansas, even if the results don't show it. He may be a dark horse round of 8 contender. That is true. I mean, I think Trackhouse in general, has the potential. It's just what's going to happen. How's it going to play out? Nova Stone 12, appreciate that $2. Why does Noah always puke? Can he last in Cup?
Yeah, he was puking in his helmet and stuff. I guess that's one thing.
The fact that they had to radio him on Sunday and remind him to breathe in the car, obviously health is no joke, but that's kind of funny that they had to
need to play Anna Nalick over the radio. So, breathe, just breathe.
Can he last in Cup? Yeah, but he probably should see a medical professional about that. It seems to be a little bit too common. But anyways, moving on. Antar Das, appreciate $1.99. The playoffs needs to be cut to 8. Only 8 people?
I won't go that far.
8,
12 would be a nice sweet spot for me.
Yeah, 8.
You gotta please the sponsors.
8 seems a little hard.
24.
36.
It'd be like the NBA. They let 70% of the teams in the playoffs now.
With the play-in tournaments and stuff. Yeah.
Hey, we're going to Chicago next year.
No. Actually, no. Let's have play-in races. There you go. Play-in races.
Don't give them
what
ideas.
we're going to Chicago next year, so let's just bring in Oprah Winfrey. You're in the playoffs. You're in the playoffs. Okay. Yeah. Nova Stone 12. Appreciate that. $2 again. Gibbs versus Gregson, but better drivers beating them. Huh?
Well, they'll probably be battling for 12th next year.
Yeah.
Cody Workman, appreciate the $1.99. Well, we already said this playoff system be like there against Top Golf Score. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Nova Stone 12 again, appreciate $2. Been very generous. KB should go to H. Smith, replace Bowman, who underperformed. Well, I mean, he's not been that great, but look at Byron's stats.
I thought I was expecting Danny to do another Okay.
Okay, moving on. No, I mean, sure, why not? Come on over.
Somebody should do an edit. Denny delivers. I'm tasking you with an edit every time. Find just different points of the broadcast where they're critical of Bowman. Just have Danny. Okay.
Okay, we're just gonna get this out of the way. Okay, you're trash. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Nova Stone 12 again. Appreciate $2. If keep playoffs, regular champ should be automatically in a championship 4. No way. I don't like that.
So the regular season champion should be the automatically
No, because that promotes laziness. You could just sit around and do whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, then you could really. I mean, yeah. No, I don't.
They could put all their attention focusing on getting a perfect Phoenix car and do jack all in the playoffs.
So Chase Elliott, if that were true, Chase Elliott would already be working on his championship 4 car right now.
He would have been working on it weeks ago.
Yeah.
That
thing would be the T-Rex car on steroids.
Appreciate the generosity there, Nova Stone, but that's not a good idea.
No.
Antar Das, appreciate the $4.99. F1, IndyCar, Sports Car Championship are 100 times more legitimate than NASCAR. 5 out of the last 8 years had the wrong champions in NASCAR.
The wrong champions. Whoa.
Well, they're going off of like the whole projected if they would have kept the consistent points and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, they would have raced differently though.
I will say this with this current format, when I went back, and obviously they race different, I know that. But in 08, because I saw someone bring it up in the chat, Kyle Busch and Dale Jr. would have made the Final 4 in 2008, and they did not deserve to win that year. It was bad. Very bad.
Bruce Morgan, we mentioned this one earlier, $4.99. Appreciate that, Bruce. Don't want a NASCAR champion that can't win a regular season race. Consistency is like kissing your sister. Again, I don't know.
We never figured out what that means exactly.
Is that a saying down here or something?
It's literally like an old saying. I've heard it forever.
Oh, it is? Oh.
Yeah, it's an old saying.
Well,
Eric, have you heard that before, Eric?
I haven't heard it, and I'm still trying to decipher.
It's just something that I think it's like, if you're a guy, oh yeah, you kissed a girl, but ugh, it's your sister.
So
like, I think that's what it's supposed to mean.
So they're saying, ugh, consistency?
It's like, yeah, that's what they're saying basically. It's like, oh yeah, you did good, but it was consistent. It wasn't winning. Ugh. That's basically what they mean by it.
Okay.
Thank you, Jarrett.
Thank you for
explaining kissing your sister to us.
I just heard.
I don't have a sister.
That's thank God.
Join us next week. We'll be live in Alabama, guys.
No, seriously. I'm glad I finally understand it.
Yeah.
Ross Crash Stain, appreciate the $5. Make everyone winners and give them all participation trophies. That's a great idea. See ya.
How can you say his name? Every time I try to say Crash Stain, I like stumble. I can't say that. Crash Stain. Oh, there you go. I got it that time.
He found the millennial version of NASCAR. Everyone gets a trophy.
Yeah. See you in Nashville for you guys to get your participation trophies.
Yep.
Isaac, appreciate $1.99. McDowell is greater than KFB, MTJ, and Joey Hack Logano.
Wow. Jared likes that. Wow.
Oh.
No, but you're wrong. No, he's not. He's good. He ain't that good. He would tell you that.
Nova Stone 12, appreciate the $2. I don't know what this means. Chase won under every chase format, best in last 10.
Oh, in 2020.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Nova Stone 12, appreciate $2. If I'd get rid of playoffs, then hopefully, if it get rid of playoffs, then hopefully Chase out. Nova, I'm not quite sure what that one means. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, bro. Sorry.
Hey, P10 Billy, it's great to see you over to IndyCar race. Appreciate $1.99. I've only ever known the Chase, so I'm indifferent. That's a good point. There is a lot of new NASCAR fans that never knew what it was like back then. So, but hey, you watch IndyCar, so you kind of get an idea. So, Melon Smasher 1, appreciate the $9.99. Hey, Danny, missed you last week, but not as much as our boy Alex Bowman, who got mad hate from Eric, and now I think he deserves some payback. P.S. Listen to last week's episode to hear the mad garbage. Well, I kind of got the sample size, and it sounds like they were nicer when I was around.
Okay. Weren't that mean to Bowman? Just a little. Just jokes. Claudia heard the whole thing. Right? It sounds like she didn't tell on us. We appreciate that.
I will say I saw a perfect meme this week, and I showed it to these guys, and it was Gordon Ramsay. when Byron struggles, oh no,
Yeah.
you poor thing, bless your heart, like he is in MasterChef Junior. And then when Bowman struggles, you donkey.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Oh,
But Jam plays games. Appreciate the $1.99. Rutledge be like, hey guys, I am here in your walls.
they're fucking cats stuck on the walls. So annoying.
Napa Racing Fan 927. Appreciate the $2 there. How many night races should NASCAR have for 2023? More than they have now, because there ain't enough of them. So
Like 3. Honestly,
yeah.
But unless
not-
it's Sunday night races.
as much as we say noon all the time, have some night races for crying out loud.
Sunday night would honestly help the ratings and give you night races.
But Saturday night, that's bad for ratings, correct? Traditionally.
Yeah. It's like usually the worst viewed races of the year, Saturday
Like-
night races.
Like imagine
short tracks.
Imagine a few nights where it's like Sunday Night NASCAR coming at you on NBC. You know,
We're gonna interrupt it for NASCAR or for the NFL now.
Oh, we gotta get. Oh wait, he's not there anymore. I was about to say Chris Collinsworth could do his little slide in. And here we are today in Richmond, everybody. You'd say, "Oh, this guy right here is good. I know he's running 25th, but he's doing it well.
He's just a guy.
This is just a guy right here, Al."
Brock Culpepper, appreciate $1.99. Host of R to the JRM, driving to 9 next year. Yes.
Yes,
We kind
sir.
of talked about that. That's a possibility. Seems like
Let's
a good
do
possibility.
it. Let's make it happen.
Alex Viveros, appreciate $5. Don't be shocked if JRM signs Carson, that Ross Chastain gets some starts in the 88 with Worldwide helping him fund both cars.
I mean, I can see that maybe.
That's outside the box thinking. I don't know. I like it.
Chastain having some Xfinity starts and something out of 92 car be interesting. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
okay. Groovy Goose, appreciate $1.99. KFB to WWE. Maybe he wants to reclaim the 24/7 championship.
Oh my goodness.
Kyle Busch versus Logan Paul. Let's book it for WrestleMania, guys.
So, Danny, I have a question for you. There are a ton of wrestlers that come to NASCAR. I've seen Sheamus at half a dozen races this year alone. I don't know anything about wrestling. I know who he is. I could pick him out of a crowd. How often do NASCAR drivers appear at WWE events? Ever? Like once a year, maybe? I remember with that Kyle Busch thing.
That was the last one I remember. Back for a little while, it would be common to see. So, like, randomly, John Cena was hanging out with Carl Edwards. I remember that. So,
That's
it
pretty cool.
It does happen from time to time, but there has been a huge crossover since WWE is on both Fox and USA Network and NBC to an extent with Peacock doing the pay-per-views. There's a ton of room to cross over WWE into NASCAR racing, and it's a similar audience based mainly in the southeast region of the United States. So, there's plenty of room for crossover with the two. So that's why I'm not surprised you see so much crossover.
But like I was asking you, because I feel like I rarely see hearing about NASCAR drivers going to WWE. It feels like it doesn't happen nearly as often as vice versa.
Again, it seems like something that they don't need to do anymore, because it feels like bringing in too many random celebrities for wrestling takes away from the show that they're trying to do. And now, especially now that Vince McMahon has left there, that's probably not something that Triple H wants to do, because for a while it felt like the WWE back in like 2011 to 2014-ish would have a random celebrity guest host like every week. Like one week I was watching, it was like, here's Larry the Cable Guy. I was like, why is Larry the Cable Guy hosting Monday Night Raw? This makes no sense.
That would get my view if I knew it was happening.
But, I think that's why
He's on the turnbuckle, dadgum.
But no, like it just doesn't make as much sense, I think. So that's all it really is to it. With the Kyle Busch thing, it was kind of cool because they happen to be in the same area as the NASCAR championship celebrations when that was going on.
Yeah, Eric, you can find the drivers watching WCW events. There you go.
What is that? Wrestling children wrestling? Wait, what is that?
They don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll there. It looks like the 19 team won that one, so they're all going to Martin Truex Jr.
Good
We
job.
are utterly predictable as a.
Hey, I can gain stuff. Let's go. I'm the only
Or
one
you'll
getting-
lose because this is one of Blaney's worst tracks.
Yeah, we'll see.
B6
I'm here
Weekend
for it.
ahead.
B1624, appreciate that $5. He's quoting the Bible, Exodus 3. He couldn't remember the verse, and it's just a quote from that. Though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So
Right.
interesting.
Okay.
Bibles.
NASCAR Bowman 48. I think this guy looks Alex Bowman. Appreciate the $5. I would say if Hendrick bought Bowman out, then Bowman to Junior's 9 car in Xfinity. Then when Junior and Kelly go Cup, Bowman in the 88 car for Junior Motorsports. I mean,
I don't know if he want to go back to Xfinity.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Now if Junior came to Cup and he needs a driver, maybe. But
And Bowman would dominate in Xfinity too in that ride. Like that'd be
well, let's not say that. He's had a few chances in lower ride, hasn't quite dominated. He's done well, but he hasn't dominated. So let's not say that. NASCAR Bowman 48 again at $5. Appreciate that. Truex Jr. for win at Richmond. He's going to be out for blood at one of his best tracks. And yep, the chat, most of us picked him to win. So yep, could be. Blue Jimmy 48 fan. Appreciate the $2 there, man. First time going to Richmond, gonna be something. Hey, have fun. I still haven't been to Richmond, so that's a track that I haven't been to yet.
Enjoy it.
Napa Racing fan 927. Appreciate $2. Why does everyone want HMS to dump Bowman? Yeah, I really don't get why that is, but it seems to be a common trend I've noticed. Like,
I mean, you're going from Alex Smith to Tom Brady with Bowman to Bush. It's not exactly. Alex Smith wasn't bad. It's like going from Alex Smith to Pat Mahomes like the Chiefs did. They went from like really good, solid, consistent every year to Super Bowl contender every year.
That's fair, I suppose.
yeah. Nova Stone 12 again. Appreciate it.
I'm sorry, Dan. I feel bad doing this.
At this point, I don't even feel myself doing it. It's just happening. Nova Stone 12. Appreciate the $2. Y'all said make regular champion more important. Well, sorry, that promotes laziness. Talk about the regular.
About being like automatic. I mean, like
If you wanted to make it more important, just get more points.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't give him a freaking pass through the entire.
I'm
I'm down to
playoff.
give
Yeah.
them 10 extra points.
Give
Like,
them
Yeah, go to 25.
Give them a
Yeah.
cushion. Don't give them a pass.
Yeah.
To just miss the entire. That's 9 races. They could just do whatever.
And then get their car ready, bro. Yeah, that's fine. But I see where you're getting at, but
Yeah. M. Martin fan for life. Appreciated $9.99. Playoff tracks should be one a year track. Oh, so only go there one time and that be in the playoffs. I like that idea, but we would have, if we did that, we'd have to add a few more tracks, wouldn't we?
Well, and we'd have to cut Talladega and Martinsville, and I don't want to do that.
yeah, I don't want to do that.
Well, would you be willing to sacrifice their spring dates?
No.
No.
Martinsville, that wasn't that great this year.
Yeah, but
One
it's like
race.
once in a blue moon.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll fix it.
PTM Billy, appreciate $1.99. Jarrett, do you have the Minnesota Vikings 18 car?
No.
Get with him. He had it to give to me to give to you, but I did not have a bag or anything I could take it, unfortunately.
Damn. Yeah, I'll look on Twitter tomorrow.
Sorry to spoil.
I'll be heading
sorry
home.
to spoil it there, Billy, but I had to tell him somehow. Melon Smasher 1, appreciate the $1.99. Danny, can you start a WWE channel or podcast? No, there's a ton of wrestling YouTube channels already out there. I would not make any sense in there at this point, so I'm gonna stick to NASCAR. I might start a fishing channel though. I've got a fishing channel. I might start uploading consistently on that channel though, so I might do that one. But anyways, that's it for the last of the super chats here tonight. Appreciate everyone who donated. Very generous support of the show. As always, we do appreciate that. Again, check out Lionel Racing and Forney. Their links are down in the comments below. Join us next week, next Wednesday, August 17th, for episode 200.
200.
We've been doing this for 200 Wednesdays. Well, I guess we all haven't been doing this for 200 Wednesdays, but Jared has.
Yeah.
has.
He has not missed a single episode ever.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that I just like have bubble wrap around me so I don't get hurt or anything happen to me this week, so I can make it to 200.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we do this on Zoom, so even if
But before the 200th episode, we have the NWP 400 as well.
No, that's the week after.
Oh, it's the week after. Oh, I'm not
Jesus, dude.
amazing.
This is why you leave
Darian,
the promos to us.
Darian.
Oh, Oh god.
Everyone spam 200 in the chat to wash out the.
Yeah, just
the mess
spend
up.
200. Yeah, 200.
Woo!
But the NWP 400 is happening soon.
It's
I
the
think
Tuesday after.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen, we're going to do that show like this the usual way. We might have to get the Nashville guys all come over here and we have a little party afterwards or something, because that's a big
Ooh.
celebration.
There you go. Oh yeah, get a cake or something for you. Yep, let's go. I'm ready.
Yep. Claudia's been saying she needs to get another cookie cake. There she is in the chat saying cookie cake to celebrate. So
yep, there you go. There you go.
We're counting on Claudia. She'll get us cookie cake. Come on over.
Eric, you can't have none, unfortunately. No.
Well, it's girl.
Mail me a slice. It'll be good. It'll be good. Through UPS. I'm sure it'll keep.
We'll tell your girlfriend where to get a good cookie cake.
There you go.
But hey, thanks so much for joining us here today. Do we have a Dell call or anything to end us out on?
I always like toss it every week.
Find it. You have to have it for next week.
Find it.
Oh, here we go.
Or else we're all gonna
There
make
you
engine noises.
There you go. All right. Blow it.
Maybe get a little further back before you do, just so it doesn't blow out the mic.
Blow out the what? The this?
No, get further back. Further back.
Get closer.
Oh fuck!
You floored it.
He cussed.
Dang it.
Y'all heard him cuss. That was worth it. Good ball.
Green. Holy moly. Great job! Yeah! This guy. Thank you! Wow! Hell yeah. Woo-hoo! Great job, man! Oh my god, guys! Yes! Yes! Unbelievable! You guys are the best!